What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the third episode already of BiteStream, the show all about indie game development, the news of game development. I hope the audio is good. If people in chat can give us a quick thumbs up or give us something basically that this is working, that would be greatly appreciated.
We did a sound check. It should be fine.
We did a sound check, but it is a new environment, like you can see for our video viewers, people on Spotify. If you are audio listening, me and Thomas are sitting in the same room right now. So people can hear us great. We've got a great show lined up for you today. First one is that No More Robots publisher had an interview and they said that basically, by their quote, everything is fucked. Is anyone still getting published? How are we going to get published in this very barren landscape of indie development at this point? Another thing, of course, Unity is down bad. They reported a 16% year-over-year loss. Who would have guessed? So we'll talk about that. What else will we be covering today, Thomas?
Well, Apple is continuing being, Apple, and it's just the changes they made to their monetization from external apps, like external payment providers, is unique. Let's cover that a bit.
Yeah.
And also, last week we talked about how Nintendo's year-over-year has been quite bad.
Yeah.
It turns out it's not only Nintendo.
Yeah. No, we got a great show lined up for you today. Let's begin by talking about money and publishers. That's probably also the thing that most game developers care about, where, we start this with a dream of, hey, I'm gonna get published and everything's gonna be great. So maybe I'll drop a link to this. Thomas, you can pull up the article. I don't know if you're screen sharing yet.
I have it pulled up.
Yeah, so I dropped it in chat as well if you want to read along as well. Basically, a game developer did a interview with Mike Rose from No More Robots, who maybe you've seen, he has done a GDC talk on marketing that I personally really enjoyed, where they talked about how they marketed their Descenders game. And he only has bad news about it, basically. It's a pretty long, it's a relatively long, so we're not going to go over all of it. But the gist is basically that he is expecting 2024 to be a bad year, and 2025 is not going to get better. He's like, yeah, some publishers are like, oh, we just need to survive until 2025. He's like, bad idea, it's not going to happen. It's going to go to an implosion. Some of the reasons he states for that actually surprised me though, where it's kind of because Steam is blamed, which surprised me. Usually publishers used to have more power, honestly, and they could do more for games. Whereas now, a quote he has in the article is that when the Steam summer sale happens, they used to be able to have those top slots and things like that. Now it's just absolutely AAA all the way down that have paid for those slots. And this was one of those statements that I read and I was like, oh, I'm taken aback by this, because one of the things that we've talked about on this channel before is that Steam is extremely democratic at the end of the day. You cannot pay, to my knowledge, which, I am still an indie developer on.
We probably don't have the budget, even if you could.
Yeah, so indeed, Rowan Anthony also, AAA paid for slots. Steam does not allow for you to pay. You just, things like daily deals, you send them an email. They do not have, unlike what the Play Store and the Apple Store has, for example, where you can pay to be on the front page. Maybe what he means by this, if I'm going to try and defend him, is that Steam looks at what games are going to sell the most. Because the games that they put the most visibility on, that's going to sell the most, if it's like Baldur's Gate 3 with the 10% discount, they'll earn the most money off. But honestly, I think this is BS. I think there's no way that Steam is actually taking money for AAA slots.
Do you think, for example, when you boot up Steam, you get those pop-ups?
I think that's all still Steam's curation, and none of that is paid, I think.
Okay.
You see this as well a lot on the /r/game dev subreddit, for example, where people are like, hey, I just sent a friendly email to Steam and they featured me in a daily deal and I made $20,000 in a single day or whatever.
Damn.
So the visibility you get if you're on the front page of Steam is huge at the end of the day. That's acceptable. But I think this one was a bit of a weird take. I wanted to quickly cover that. So I don't know how all of this is. This is a very emotionally charged interview as well. It's for 2022, everything seemed fucked. We just stopped signing things, is another quote.
Yeah, he curses a lot. In every quote is like a swear word.
Maybe he's Irish or something, I don't know.
Yeah, an interesting subtitle that I found, I'll put it on screen now, is pitching to publisher. You better be cheap as fuck or expensive as hell.
Yeah.
It was also very interesting to me, because I was like, the cheap one I can understand, because I think that's more the trend that current publishing is going, sure. But the expensive as hell, what do you think?
So this is something I want to talk to about in a second as well. I had it here as well, where on the low side, we've talked about this when we went to, for example, Develop Brighton. There was the sentiment indeed. Publishers are looking for those like 100K kind of deals that are very short development types. Like they released this year still basically, that have high replayability, high impact. Or I think with the expensive as hell, we're talking about like, the 2 million plus deals, for example, where it's going to be a game that takes 2 years. It's going to be a game that has a lot of marketing points. And because it's so long, it's kind of also, I think, hoping that the industry gets better by the time it actually releases. And then there's the middle ground that he talks about, where like the 500,000 deals or whatever, they need to be really good to get a return on investment, and he doesn't believe that that's going to happen in the current landscape.
I think the cheap part I understand. It also kind of sucks for us as indies because we already have so much games releasing in 2024, always more. Next year it will be even more probably, and if that trend continues, if you then compete with more cheaper games, I think that's also harder for us as indies that are not published at the moment to then compete, because now they release 3 games in the time span that they previously would have made 1. Yeah. Which I think is also a worrisome trend. Yeah, I think Hout Lava Games in YouTube chat also. It's like both end of spectrum are lower risk. Like the high scale games are like, think for example your 4X games that sell for like $40 or whatever. There's going to be much better of a return on investment there. Like the Millennia, Homefront 3, like the Paradox publisher basically, where they just go balls to the walls, like 4-year development cycles, but it is going to bang. But I don't think you can make like, I need $500,000 for my $15 to $20 game. I think that's going to be a much harder thing to pitch about right now. What would you put as a number? Any idea? Like number for what? If you have a $15 to $20 game, what do you think? If you were to pitch it today, for example, imagine tomorrow we pitch Guild Architect. What do you think we could ask for our probably like 15-ish? I assume we basically price it at Guild as the same as Forge Industry. We're not sure on that yet. I think it would be for us, because we're a smaller team, it would be like 100, 200K, which already gets to that middle ground. It's getting dangerous. One of the talking points I actually had here is, will Guild Architect ever get a publisher in this current landscape? Before we dive into that though, I do want to say as well that it's not all doom and gloom, because the day after this article came out, I forgot the name, the Raw Fury founder, basically, you can find him on XD Everything app, has gone there and he was like, no, publishing is not fucked, ask me anything, where he was actually like, hey, no, here at Raw Fury, 500,000 deals, we signed them, like 200 to 500K, send us an email and we'll look into it. They're still actively doing things, so there are some differences as well. Now, Raw Fury is by no means, I think, a perfect publisher either. They've had some issues in the past, but they are a very big publisher at the end of the day. They signed a lot of games, so I think that's another interesting one. Because of the nature of it being an XD Everything app, like the questions were kind of lame. It was like half of the people were just like, would you sign my game, which isn't the most helpful. But yeah. Did you also ask if you would sign our game? I did not know, because I think that would be a bit of a waste of wasted opportunity. Yeah. One more quote from the interview I want to highlight is at this point, I feel like after you've been making a game for a year, the stuff you're adding at that point is not coming back to you. So this is talking about, once again, the budget development cycles. That's hard, because there are certain kinds of games, this is further of the quote, that just couldn't be made with that approach, because certain games need more than that year to be made in the first place. But unfortunately, right now, he states that these kinds of games just will not come out, will not get published, because it just doesn't work out. I think that's also, Chad and also Rohan is like, I don't agree with that. I think there's definitely diminishing returns between like a 2-year and a 3-year game, but I think definitely just stating that, any game that's more than 1 year of development time, that's going to be horrible, I think that's also not the way. I think this is definitely... You have like the game dev YouTubers who are like, publish your game, it's gonna be easy, full-time game dev, whatever. I made 6 figures in my first half year as a game dev, and I didn't even ship a game. That definitely isn't the case, but I think this article, it's so extreme. That's also why I wanted to cover this. This is like a very doom and gloom feeling. I think it's also not that bad. Of course, we have publisher meetings lined up at Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show, so maybe in 4 weeks from now, we'll be sitting here crying and be like, actually publishing is fucked. It's even worse than we imagined. So I think we'll learn a bit about that as well. We will keep you guys updated. But I quickly want to dive a little bit more in our publishers, the misunderstood victim after all, because with things like the Humble layoffs, we've been very quick to point at like, oh no, this has been evil corporate like acquisitions and things like that, and don't actually care about the games.
And now suddenly we have this publishers like, yeah, we haven't been able to do much more. I also talked about this before, like it's become much easier to self-publish your game almost in a certain way in regards to marketing, like finding YouTubers to play your game. Back in the old days, like Game Reporter, or no, Game Informer, I think, just shut down last week. We didn't have a topic for it. But like you needed to get physical media to cover your games. That's not a thing anymore. You just need to get some YouTubers and you can send the email, or the publisher could send the email, but the publisher doesn't have that much more sway.
Yeah. In general, I think people have a bad sentiment about publishers because you only hear the doom scenarios. You hear how publisher X shafted developer Y.
Yeah.
You never hear, hey, we worked together for a great cooperation. We both got our profit out of it. Everyone happy. Those are not the stories you usually see in the news.
Yeah, you don't hear them in the news. I've definitely heard of them though.
Yeah, of course.
Look at, for example,
but I mean from a public perspective.
Yeah, look at what Outer Slot is doing, for example, with their fund, where like they just made so much money that they're like, hey, we'll give out some of the money that we've earned as well.
Yeah, I think the publishers are subject to the market, obviously, just like game devs, but they even more, because they have to invest in the games they think will make. They have to return the money basically.
Yeah.
And if the game industry is trending towards certain styles, for example, every game now has to be very visual because otherwise no streamer will play it and they cannot get the attention.
It is true at the end of the day. Like,
yeah,
I feel like there are certain games, like if you're making a pixel art JRPG, it's going to be really hard to get that published at this point.
Yeah, and I think that's not the fault of the publishers. I think that's fault of the consumer. Because the consumer is basically, if I want to watch a game on YouTube, I probably look at something that is either very visual and I just like seeing the visuals of, or something that evokes a lot of emotion. That's one of the reasons why I'll change.
You also want to get good thumbnails.
Yeah, of course.
Even that's the first thing. Like if the game looks good, you're gonna have a good thumbnail, which means people are gonna click on it.
Yeah. So I think in general the hands of the publishers are tight, but yeah, I think they are a bit the victim. Yeah. But still,
Construct Games has a pretty in YouTube chat has a take that I don't think is smart. It's like, as a marketplace developer, it might be worth looking at making packs aimed towards those top sellers like 4X. The thing is, those top sellers like 4X, because they are those large budget, large scale games, they're gonna have the budget to just make everything in house. Also, 4X is kind of, it's like so much. They need the cohesive style. Don't do that, Construct. I think that's a
do you
bad
think?
idea.
Something I wanted to maybe cover is, in the article they mentioned, hey, some kind of games are not going to be made anymore. What genre do you think is now like the worst to pitch because of the scope? Is it something like a 4X, for example?
I think 4X is still good because 4X is still a good earner.
Yeah, it's statistically one of the best.
Yeah, I think it's like.
But what genre do you think is, if you have this kind of game, you probably should not pitch?
I'm actually gonna check if this game is self-published or not. Give me 1 second.
Yeah,
but
take your time.
It's Little Kitty, Big City. I think. I think they do have a publisher, but it's like a small. No, they're self-published. I think those are games. Little Kitty, Big City, for example, 3D platformers with like a very distinct art style. I think even these games have trouble getting published at this point. I mean, also look at the Dutch studio with Deliver Us the Moon, Keoken Interactive, that's their name. They're the ones that they've released 2 successful games, Deliver Us the Moon, Deliver Us Mars, and still nobody wanted to sign them because this kind of game they're making just didn't appeal as much anymore, I think. And the scope they were asking for, because they were like a 20 to 30 person studio, it just didn't make sense for a publisher at that point to get it out of it anymore, even though it has worked 2 times before.
Do you think, you're now talking about a 20 or 30 person studio, do you think at that point, if you ever get that far, which good luck first of all, do you think by then you should have outgrown a publisher, because otherwise you will probably never get signed again because you're just too big of a scope?
I think at that point, so this is another conversation I had at Develop Brighton. There was this lovely lady sitting next to me. I forgot the games that she's made, but she was looking for, I think it was like 3 million or something for a narrative-based game. And I was sitting, and it was like the Shuhei Yoshida was sitting at the table with me, who's like from the Sony Indie Interactive, the like founder, and they like fund games as well, like Bow of the Pot of the Teal Lotus. And he was also like, yeah, nobody's gonna fund that. So they now have to look at something else, because narrative games, especially for that high budget, and the fact that YouTubers, for example, like a story-based game, if you can watch a gameplay or like a playthrough of The Last of Us, for example, and you probably do not want to look at that. Another topic, for example, that we didn't cover last week was that there was a Japanese game developer who sued like a YouTuber for just uploading the entire game too early, basically, because nobody was buying that anymore. I think those are games that have extreme risk right now. And
because of the narrative.
Because of the narrative, that makes it very unattractive for publishers.
Yeah, you don't want the player, or the viewer in this case, to feel like they experienced the game fully yet by just the story. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so
Makes
I think
sense.
things like roguelites, for example, where you have all this replayability, or multiplayer games like Chained Together, those are much better because it's lower cost to make often and more bang for buck, really. And I do think, like, maybe it's not everything fucked, but I do think that publishers are definitely more risk averse right now. And they're also getting
They should be, by the way. You should not blame the publishers.
They're getting the most pitches ever as well right now, because game development has never been this many games being made.
Yeah.
I talked to some publisher, and they're like, they're a pretty small boutique publisher, and still they were getting like 4 to 5 pitches every single day. If you're someone like a Raw Fury, you're gonna get probably, I would say, 50 pitches a day at that point.
Yeah, I think being a publisher right now is not the best place to be.
Yeah.
Though in general, the game dev industry is not the best place to be, but more on that later.
Yeah. So yeah, will Guild Architect get a publisher? Honestly, we're doing it.
We're trying.
We're trying, but maybe this is my defeatist mindset. We need the money. Like, ideally, if we can get a publisher, that's great. But I think also we're doing it because we
will always win.
Yeah, even if we don't get a publisher, I can make a clickbaity video of like 10 publishers turned us down or whatever. This is what they
but
learned.
we also just have the experience. And if we're then here being the talking heads on YouTube saying these are the things that, for example, we did wrong.
We've actually pitched to publishers, so buy our masterclass now or something.
we failed.
We won't go that way, but I think definitely we can still win something out of it. But if you're the solo dev who like mortgaged their house and you're looking for a publisher, it's a different story. We have more safety net, so to say.
Yeah, we just spend the time, we make a pitch. If we get published, great. If we don't get published, we know how the process goes and we can share it with you guys.
Yeah, I think it's also delusional to think that your first game is like your first pitch will get like funded, basically.
Yeah.
I think there was a stat like less than 1% of all game pitches right now are being like actually converted into, hey, these are going to be published games.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard, but we will try it and we will see how far we go.
Yeah, there was another thing as well where the publisher, the No More Robots, was also talking about, we stopped signing in 2022, and all they did was just, and he said it, so like squeeze everything out of the back catalog we already have. Back catalog is also an important thing. Like, are you going to have a game that's going to sell for 2 months and then nobody plays it anymore? Or do you once again have something that people will keep playing?
Yeah,
basically.
But on the other, I'm just now thinking out loud, but one of the most popular genres right now is probably the things like a Chained Together and so on. That's probably the style they want to sign, right?
Yeah.
But those are mostly viral games, I would say.
Yeah.
So do you think, like in a year, they will not sell anymore, don't you think?
Yeah, but I
because
think
then the hype is gone.
They're offset by the low cost. Like, looking at a game like Jump King, for example, realistically, how much would that game cost to develop? 50K or something?
I don't know. They promise there's a hot babe at the top. Maybe that's a very high quality PNG. So.
I don't think so, but I think those, because there's the virality, but it's also so much cheaper. If you spend $500,000 on a game that has that virality, you'd really have to put a gamble in at that point.
Yeah, true. They just think they can recoup quickly, I think, on those kind of games. They just need it to go viral. If it's dead in a month, they don't care because they already recouped.
Yeah,
I think makes sense.
I think, one thing before we move on from this topic is...
Yeah, it's a massive topic, by the way. It's the biggest topic today, don't worry.
Definitely. What needs to happen for publishing to get better? Will it ever get better, honestly? Because people are going to keep making more and more games because it keeps getting easier and easier, and people like us keep popping up that are like, oh, go and make games, it's great, guys.
So we will start saying, guys, don't make games, just watch us make games.
Yeah, give us your money and don't make your own games.
Yeah, if we all band together, you can become part of Byte Studios. We'll give you an NFT, which represents your stake in the company, which is totally useless. And with that money, we will make our games. Who's on board?
Yeah, no. But I don't know if publishing, community building, and long-term support, at least from the Pirates side, is what gives you the long-term indeed. Yeah, but...
Yeah, but that's only sustainable if you have success.
Yeah, and
for example, let's just take us as example, Forge Industry.
Yeah.
We had, for an indie, it was a success for self-publishing. We did above average, above median, everything. So. Yeah, a bit more. But still, if you think about it, we cannot do long-term support on it because it will just cost us money. At some point, it has to have a decent return on investment. And that's where a publisher has to come in. If, for example, For Jinzo was published, and it would get more reach because publishers help you with that reach, and it's sold 10 times the amount, then okay, great. Now we can maybe do more long-term support.
Yeah, we can add trains as a DLC, for example.
But you get the point. At some point, it's for an indie, especially a self-published one, it's really hard if you want to make a living from this. If you just do it as a hobby project, long-term support as long as you are interested, I guess. But if you just do it and actually want to eat from making games, I think long-term support is one of the hardest things to do as an indie.
Anyways, how are we going to get publishers to get us money again? How are they going to recover from this, you think?
That's actually...
Because I don't see a way that
I think it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, I don't think it will return. Yeah, is a publisher really an easy 10 times? No, that's the thing. Having a publisher is no guarantee that your game will be a success.
Of course not.
And it can even be a detriment because what if you get, not every publisher is good. What if they decide that, hey, 20K goes to marketing and they just buy a booth at Gamescom and you get 1,000 wishlists? That's not good marketing. You're screwed then. And you have to pay that back. They have to recoup that.
Yeah, or imagine you're a dev and they just suddenly say we're going to spend 15K of the money we've given you on localization in a language that you didn't want.
Yeah, so it depends on the publisher. What if your publisher goes bankrupt? Do you keep...
Yeah, there's a lot of things. There are always risks involved, of course.
Yeah, a Spectrum 3900 in YouTube chat is then we do need more portals for indies to upload and sell their games on. I don't think that's the problem.
I don't think separation is good.
We need more people to play games. That's the only way, because there's more games being
Not just
made.
play games, but play more varied games.
Yeah,
because
also
it's getting more and more dominated by the AAAs, for example.
Yeah, or the League of Legends, for example. That's a giant player base as well. The Apex Legends, the Call of Duty Warzones. They don't care about the indies.
Yeah.
We need more people just to play the games, or it needs to get harder to make games, but that's not going to happen realistically.
Yeah. I think this is probably a bad mindset because it encourages monopolistic behavior. But one of the last things I think you want is more competition on store pages.
Epic Games is not going to solve the publisher problem.
No, Epic Games is not going to solve it. Itch is not going to solve it because on Itch there are a lot of users, but I mean, the big mass is not there. And you also, if you ever want to get success, you need part of the quote-unquote normies.
Yeah. I think one thing, I cannot give you a solution for publishers, but I think this leads us into this little bonus that also came out this week is we're going to be seeing more of a, I don't know, is it like a meritocracy where publishers of successful, no, not publishers, developers of successful games are actually going to, because they're not corporate soulless suits who look at dashboards and KPIs and like that, and they focus more on just actually releasing, or they focus more on just giving a bunch of money to whatever games they find cool. Yeah. Outerslot does this, for example.
Or even YouTubers.
Yeah. Or the one that I want to call to action for you now is Dragneck New Voices Puzzle Grant has just opened for submissions, and they're giving $15,000 for Tinky games, puzzle games, Sokoban games, things like that, because those are actually some of those games that are not going to get a return on investment. The catch is they are not giving the money to anyone who has been signed by a publisher, although I think there won't be that many people. But these are probably going to be the things that you'll see more and more pop up. Things like the Epic Mega Grant also. It's not a publisher, but it's not a full scat bag of money. It's going to force you to be more creative, but still having $15,000 for us, for example, to work on Guild Architect, that would help us so much in getting more systems or more people. Ron Anthony in YouTube chat is here's a solution. Steam increases the fee to $500 to $1,000 and increases recoup to 5 to 10K. That's, maybe it's a solution in the short term. But
I disagree.
Yeah.
What do you think about third world countries?
Also, yeah.
It has to be relative then, because now it's a flat fee, I think.
Yeah,
and
then
for
indeed.
us, it's okay, it's $100, it's whatever.
Yeah,
but there are people in
Brazil, and
Brazil,
they're this
India.
is a month, I need to save up 2 months to pay my Steam credit, for example.
Yeah, and another downside is if you then, for example, do make it regional, there will be people taking advantage of that. They will open, there are definitely countries where you can probably make companies, or at least entities, that represent you in that country, and then you can easily get it on there. So there are always loopholes.
Yeah, I don't
think just increasing the fee is enough.
Yeah, but yeah, I think so. If you are making a puzzle kind of game right now,
Yeah, give it a watch.
There's a link in YouTube in the chats basically, and it's also going to be in the podcast description. Go and apply there. They have like it's not just one person, of course. A lot of people will submit after all, but it's 15K, and they're also like, hey, if it goes to rent, that's fine. They don't really care that much. This is what I like, the more loose approach to getting your game funded, basically.
Yeah.
Because I think also, like we said, like, do you need 400K to make a game? Or are you at that point maybe overscoping it also? Like,
Yeah.
if you're a first-time developer, you do not need $500,000 because you don't know how to use it correctly to begin with.
I agree. I also think, to add up on the point you mentioned earlier about the devs making it more publishing games, I think, for example, what we see with Ludwig, Video Game Donkey, YouTubers that actually have the capital,
Yeah.
that they also start doing that because they just
And there, once
love
again,
it.
they come from the perspective, we love these games, and they
Yeah.
may not be the most. And that's like the thing, like the passion may actually be better.
Yeah. So Video Game Donkey, if you're watching this, send us an email. We'll love to partner up.
I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
I mean, it's worth a shot, right?
Um,
But yeah, the link is in chat. I briefly showed the article earlier.
yeah, it's...
Do you want to go over anything specific more about this? Or?
No, I just wanted to give this basically as a point of an alternative to, hey, if you're making one of those puzzle games, because maybe Jonathan Blow, for example, we talked about him last week, where he's like, everyone has to stop developing on Jai and on their next game. It's just him now, and he's making a Sokoban game. It's going to be a really pretty one, but it's not going to sell as much, I think, anymore, because once again, those are the genres that just aren't hot right now. Nobody really...
Yeah, I think more than ever, and I think it will only increase, picking what game you actually want to make is really important.
Yeah.
Like the genre, how it looks.
yeah,
I think
for your
more and
marketing.
more, like the longer we go on, you will have to do more market analysis, basically, to actually have a chance.
And then you get the problem of, do I make the game that I want to make?
Yeah.
Or do I make the game that realistically
perform.
will sell? Yeah.
Yeah, and if it's just a hobby, you can do the one you want. But if you actually want to make a career out of it, and you cannot make your dream game because you know it's horrible in the market right now, it's a bummer. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, sucks to suck.
Cloudy Gaming and YouTube chat is also like, Steam must be hard on reviewing games. I think...
Nope, they are not.
No, but I mean, like, they should get harder. They should actually be more strict again. Maybe bring something back, like the Greenlight program. Would that be a thing? Because remember, that was the secret code to getting your game be successful, if it was able to get on Steam.
Yeah.
Right now, honestly, there is a lot of garbage on Steam as well. I don't know. No, there's adult-only stuff on there. We shouldn't do that on YouTube. We shouldn't pull it up live. But there's a lot of like games where if you like you go to the new releases, and then there's like a tab for like see more new releases, and then there's another hidden tab that's like see all new releases, where you see the 40 games that are uploaded every day. I'm sorry, but a lot of it is honestly not good games. It's like Unity, like templates, for example, that are just ripped. The problem is, how is someone from Steam going to be the gatekeeper to decide this is a quality game, yes or no? Then you would need something like the community system, but then it can be gamed, because back then in 2014, like influencers weren't as much of a thing anymore. Like you needed to go to other ways to get those greenlight voids.
You as a viewer can make a better game than us, and just because we have an audience, we can probably get greenlit even if we make a shit game. I mean, of course, that's already more niche. So honestly, it's already a better solution than just increasing the fee. But
yeah,
I don't think this stream we will find the perfect solution.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Steam as well, but I think this is an interesting one. It's been over half an hour at this point that we've been going on about this topic. So let's go on. Let's talk about some more news. Unity is down bad. Unity announced its quarterly and yearly numbers a few days ago. Unity Create Solutions, which is the department behind the Unity game engine itself, managed to earn 4% more year over year, which
that's good.
It honestly surprised me, because remember, it's only been like 10 months since they changed their like pricing model, and they got so much backlash, so much hate. Godot grew so much from it, like the best possible marketing move for Godot. They still managed to grow a little bit, whereas Unity Grow, ironically, which is the department that does things like, for example, the Iron Forge, I think it's called, like their in-app monetization, all of those like extra add-ons basically that Unity offers, like the analytics and things like that, they have actually been losing a lot. There's no percentage listed in the article. And that is on top of Unity having done multiple rounds of layoffs, getting rid of John Riccitello, And even, this was when I visited the Unity office in Copenhagen. It was like, yeah, the snack bar shut down last week and there was just depression all over the office basically. But still, all of this has not been enough for Unity. And the question, like Unity right now basically has to hope that with Unity 6 coming out in probably, when is Unite? October? We're not going, but Unity 6 coming out, they basically have to hope that enough developers jump ship to 6, because even they have revisited the exact licensing terms. They're not as draconian anymore, not as dumb, but still they're hoping that those new fees, like that you have 200K now before you actually have to pay something, they still hope that it will in the long run earn more. The question is, will there be enough of a user base switching to Unity 6 to begin with once it's out, that it's actually gonna work out? Because right now I think Unity is losing a lot of market share to Godot, at least from the indie developers.
Indies, yeah.
That's, another one.
What do you think is the main reason for this? Do you think it's that the backlash from the runtime fee? Is it the industry? I mean, it's probably a mix of all of them, but what do you think is the main issue? Is it just other engines getting better?
Yeah, I think maybe one thing to mention here, I think we should disclose this, is Unity has this program called the Unity Insider Program, which is where creators like us can apply to be part of it, and then you get insider information, you get early access to the builds and things like that. We are not part of that. Yeah. So we have no special deals with Unity. Unity never responds to our emails. Keep that in mind. But
and then we meet them in person, they say, oh, we will email you, and they lied.
To
your face.
But I think Unity, if they wouldn't have changed the runtime licensing fees, I think they would have survived this much better. Because Godot before then was like, it was the engine that people used when they had no money and they were like, I want to try something new, but it wasn't for serious games. Like the only game really that came out was Cruelty Squad, which is a shitpost of a game. It's a beautiful shitpost, but it's still not the game you look at and are like, wow, this is the pinnacle of the engine. Yep. Whereas after that, with, for example, Relogic, the makers of Terraria, I think, pledging to put money into Godot, Road to Vostok being like, I'm gonna scrap Unity, go to Godot. Godot got so much extra press, so much growth in like the last year, that I think a lot of people realized like, hey, actually, we don't need Unity anymore. We've got Unreal, we've got Godot, we've got Default or whatever if you really hate yourself. But I think that is a big problem as well now, and even they scared away the big clients as well. It's not just indies Unity. After they announced the runtime licensing fees, for example, the MyHoYo, I think, the ones behind Genshin Impact, it's made in Unity. They were suddenly like on their job posting, they were looking at engine engineers to like start maybe look into creating their custom engine. So I think that was definitely like a big, they had too many PR mistakes too quickly and they're trying to rectify it. But I feel like it may be too little too late to ever recover to the level they were before.
Do you think them changing the policy was a mistake? Like, if they could rewind time, do you think they would still do it?
I think...
Because they need context, they laid off...
Give a quick recap.
They laid off like 1,000 people, I think, in the last year?
More, they did multiple rounds,
Well, a lot of layoffs. They also changed the pricing model, so the main problem is there is now a flat fee, if I remember correctly, from a moment you reach a certain
200.
amount.
Yeah, so the
200K?
There's always been a flat fee. If you earned more than 100K with the current Unity version...
Per install, I mean.
No, it depends. They have this whole calculator.
They made it very complex. But usually it was, you get 100K in revenue. Okay, that means now you owe Unity money, which is just a yearly license and you're good. But now it's a yearly license, and on top of that, it's either per install or a revenue
I'm going to send you the link for their runtime fee calculator. Maybe if you can pull it up on stream and we can just take a quick look at it, because it's been a while since I looked at it. There was a lot of drama in like September, but...
We looked at it, we made a video about it like a while ago.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this together.
Let's do this together.
So select your subscription, pal. Let's say we are pro. We're not enterprise.
Let's say we're personal. We're true indies. This is what we are right now. We are
So this is the first time we ever exceeded 200K, let's say.
Let's say Guild Architect
made $500,000.
Yeah, made half.
$500,000.
Yeah.
All right, my game created with Unity 6. Let's just say yes, because I don't think it applies on older games, right? So
we basically need to get Unity Pro and we'll pay nothing else. You only pay more once you have more than $1 million in revenue or in initial engagements. That's the thing. So why does yours look different than mine? Go to Unity Pro, and then here basically if you have more than $1 million in gross earnings, then you have to do the slider here, I think. Oh no, even...
Wait, what?
Because... Oh yeah, you have my games created with Unity 6, runtime fee.
No, but yes.
Oh, it's...
But it always says 0. You're lying to me, Unity. I know you want my money.
No, it doesn't always. If all of the 3 are checked, I need to pay money. Like, if you check all 3 of them...
Only 5K.
Yeah, and then if you earn 200K monthly with 100...
Monthly?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were looking at estimated monthly revenue, I see suddenly. Basically, does the Unity revenue count for all game revenues in total? No, it counts per game made in Unity 6. So at the end of the day, what you can also do is stick to Unity 2022, which is what we're doing, for example, because we're not looking forward to upgrading to Unity 6 in the middle. I think, yeah, what they're offering as like an incentive is you get rid of the made with Unity splash screen, but it's not going to be enough. The thing is...
Yeah, and engine improvements.
Yeah, your original question was if they could go back.
Do you think they would change it?
I think if they would have changed it to what it is today, like the revised version, it would have been good. But they went too crazy, and that's how they got all of that bad PR. I think this is at the end of the day, very fair thing. If you're making more than $1 million, sure, I'll pay $1,000 for your license. Yeah. I can live with that.
Yeah, this version is fine, but the original one had paper install and so
on. The original one was if you made a free-to-play game, you were just absolutely fucked. I think Danny came back and made a tweet of how he like owed Unity like $7 million or something.
Yeah, the original was crap.
That was just dumb.
Yeah, but the backlash of it just being changed once is already...
Yeah, because it
hurt already.
They hurt all of the reputation they had. And when we went to Unity Unite, everyone was also like very awkward because it was like 1 month after they did it, basically.
So, do you think next game we make after Guild Architect, so 2025 or so,
we'll make in Godot?
Do you think so?
No, I don't.
Do you think we should switch? Is Unity dying?
Is it dying? The question is Unity the company dying or is Unity the engine dying?
Yeah, but if Unity the company dies and they don't decide to make it open source, for example, then the engine is also dead.
Yeah, if like they shut down marketplaces and things like that. Yeah, the fee was a string that broke the camel's back on stuff like unfinished features. I think it's always a hard question. It's a big it depends for us because if we do make 500K, we could probably shift. On the other hand, if we're like, hey, yeah, we don't expect our game to earn more than $1 million if we are the Unity Pro license, then yeah, we probably could stick to Unity. We could switch to Unreal. We could go to Godot. It also depends on the genre. I think certain genres of games right now are objectively better to make in Unreal or Unity, for example, versus Godot. I think Godot still has that problem where most of the Godot tutorials are like for 2D games. There's not that many cool 3D games yet made with Godot, and the problem is what sells on Steam? Cool 3D games.
Yeah.
They're in development, I know that, like things like Road to Vostok, but they're not out yet. There's not enough of them yet. At the end of the day, Godot is still a tiny engine. I'm gonna look up the SteamDB once again, how many engines there are.
Yeah. In the meantime, I maybe want to dive into a couple of things said in chat. Some people are suggesting us to switch to Unreal. The problem is, in my opinion, Unreal can do the exact same thing that Unity did. If we had this conversation last year, then and Unreal did it, we would all say switch to Unity, which is like whatever. Like the only engine that I think doesn't have this is Godot, unless there are a lot of open source initiatives. An example I use in my day-to-day life is Foxglove. It's like a visualization of data.
Yeah.
And it was open source, and they were like, all right, next update, we are going to make closed source. If that also happens, Godot is also screwed because then you're never getting any updates.
Yeah.
So there is literally no solution, I think, that is foolproof, but Godot is the lowest risk because you have at least the base version of the engine that you can always use.
Yeah.
Unreal can always shaft you just like Unity did.
I sent you another link for to give you an idea of how small at the end of the day Godot still is currently. Yeah. Because I think like Godot is not even a top 5 engine at this point.
But I also think that Godot is only getting really popular in the last 8 months.
Yeah, so there hasn't been enough time for games to actually be released, basically.
Yeah, Godot here.
Yeah, so you can see
more in Renpai.
Yeah, like
Pie game.
Yeah, someone Flair in YouTube chat was like, "Oh, Godot is really good for NSFW. So if you want to go sell out studios, it might be viable." What makes Godot good at NSFW? It's just PNGs of furries that I need to display. Unity can do that just as well.
I mean, I guess Godot is really good at displaying PNGs.
Yeah, performance and workflow also matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course.
If we are used to Unity, like there's a lot of cost to switching. And once again, I keep saying this, like Slate Aspire can do that switch from Unity to Godot because they're sitting on a pile of money. If the game takes another year, whatever, who cares?
Yeah, someone mentioned, hey, the workflow change is also really important in the performance. I mean, yeah, that's the reason we didn't switch, because we are used to working in Unity. That's why we don't say we throw away like 3 months, I think it was by now.
Yeah.
By then, like of progress, and we just we start over. Even Guild Architect, we started in February, so the fee was already known by then, and we still decided to go with Unity because
we were 2022, so who cares?
Yeah,
we didn't need to worry about the fee.
Yeah, definitely. You have to make like a smart decision based on what your engine will cost and what you think you will earn, and also just how much time it costs for you to make it, and also to learn a new engine. Because if tomorrow we say we go Unreal, we go Godot, whatever, there is a learning curve. We will not perform the way we do right now in Unity because we need to learn the engine. There are like probably a lot of quirks that other engines have that Unity doesn't have, and the other way around. So of course, it's not a simple question of just looking at the monetization, because if that was the case, Godot would be king.
Guys, I want to this is going to be very unscientific. For the people watching live, can you just write the engine you're developing right now in chat?
I can make a poll, you know?
That's too difficult. Just write the name of your engine, like Godot, Unity, Unreal, and I quickly want to get a feel of what people are actually using. So we get some, like first one is here, Godot, Unity, Bevy, poor guy, Godot,
You're
Unity.
Going to get cancelled for those
It's
things.
basically almost all Unity and Godot. A few Unreal, Babylon JS. I've never heard of Babylon JS. Another Bevy, okay. Seems to be...
UE5.
It seems to be nearly a 33% split almost between them. And then like the two people with Bevy, which...
Why does everyone assume engines have names?
This is... That's just the custom engine guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think like if we asked this question 2 years ago, everyone would have said Unity almost. I think back then it would maybe be 60% or something.
Didn't Unreal only like 5 years ago or something even go free? I think it's not that...
Yeah, I think it's...
Or this is an older moment of me showing...
It's been there for a while for indies, but indeed there used to be a time where Unreal wasn't really made for indies, like Unreal 3 and things like that. But yeah.
The Bevy guy wrote the message again because he's like, I'm not alone.
Yeah, so...
poor guy.
Yeah, so I think Unity can't fully recover from this. I don't know how Unity... I think Unity...
Yeah, but also, hear me out.
I hear you out.
So, what I think is really scary, Unity has been making losses for like ages. Yeah. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
But they laid off a lot of staff. That means we will get less cool features probably. Because
they got rid of the snack bar, so the stuff doesn't work as hard.
Yeah, so now that means, hey, my URP is not getting as much updates. Or my new
Which means that they'll run behind for Unreal, because Unreal keeps pumping out like Nanite, Lumen, Niagara, whatever.
Yeah, and Unity is already, in my opinion, behind.
Compared
to high resolution and realistic graphics compared to Unreal. Yeah. At some point, now with the boost of Godot, is there a point you think Godot will overtake Unity? Because if that ever happens, I think Unity is totally screwed.
If like Godot has more users?
Users, and also feature-wise, it can actually blow-to-blow compete or outmatch Unity. If that ever happens, Unity is dead.
Yeah, I think in the next 1 to 2 years, Godot will be bigger for indies. I think mid-sized studios though, I think like if you go and look for like game programmer jobs, I think there's just way less in the professional sphere for Godot yet. I think it needs to grow a lot more there. Yeah. But especially for like the solo or like smaller indie dev teams, I think Godot is going to overtake Unity very soon.
I'm going to say the same thing that has been said for like the past 4 or 5 years or something. And that is the one thing that Godot needs is a good looking game that has a lot of success, or a AAA company that actually makes the leap.
Yeah, like
for example, if Hollow Knight Silksong was made in Godot or something, imagine that would blow up the engine.
Yeah.
I don't mean like the engine would blow up. I mean,
just still,
it would get a lot of rep. Like normies will start to know. When normies know Unity, they don't know Godot.
Yeah. One thing also still that's being worked on, but that has been holding back those like larger companies as well. Vankel in chat mentioned as well that is less support for Godot to port to consoles like Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox because of the closed source nature of the SDKs are closed source for those engines. You need to sign NDAs. You can't put them in the open domain. And there are porting firms like W4, but there's not an easy way currently, but they are working on it. I know that to make it more feasible. I think once that works, maybe we'll see some mid-size indie devs make the switch more, but I think for now it's mainly solo games. Yeah,
we are not. Godot is not there yet. It's growing, but I don't think it is completely there yet.
Yeah.
I think though, didn't past week or is it next week or in a couple of weeks? I don't remember. Sometime soon now, Godot 4.3 is about to release. Right?
Yeah, I've seen people talk about it in chat as well. I think probably at GodotCon or something, which is coming up in October, November.
I think sooner. I thought I saw a video about it earlier from today on my YouTube. I don't remember. Maybe it's worth to take a look at.
It's currently estimated June 2024, according to their docs.
Oh, so it might be released.
No, it's still in development level, so it's not fully there yet.
Okay. Yeah,
We'll get there.
Yeah, maybe let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, the next one is, first of all, the show is sponsored by Planetary Processing. We gotta do this as well. Have you ever thought, hey, I wanna make a game and I want it to be multiplayer? This does not matter what engine you're using. The Planetary Processing makes it easy for you to actually not have to deal with the entire server infrastructure and things like that. They handle all of it for you. They have a simple SDK that goes into Godot, that goes into default, that goes into...
In default?
Yeah, default. Yeah, I don't think they support Bevy. No one supports Bevy. But
sorry, one guy.
maybe they're working on it. Unreal, all of the main engines basically, and they handle the server infrastructure all for you. What they also actually released this week, like I think 3 days ago, which is it news? I don't think so, but is a kind of highly anticipated because a lot of our audience, we've done some videos about them before, actually really likes the product. But they're like, hey, one thing missing here is dimensions, is how they call it. Basically, being able to go into dungeons. So you can have the full experience where you have an open world, that's what I said, with like multiplayer in it, and then you can branch off parties. You don't have to think about any of that complicated server stuff at all. It deals it for you. It's free to use up to 10 people, so during development basically. If you have 10 friends, you can keep trying it. Only once the game goes out, you can actually use it. So I think it's a really good solution. If you want, you can get started today by heading down to planetaryprocessing.io, so planetaryprocessing.io. You can also join their Discord at discord.gg/planetaryprocessing. They're really helpful in there. If you have any questions, they're there to help you out. They talk about all the engines, the upcoming roadmap, and yeah, they just make these shows possible. So thank you for that, Planetary Processing.
Yeah, and they just seem chill, because if you saw the video, we made a video with Planetary Processing. I didn't meet the guys because Marnix was at the convention, but they
care about
really
making
chill.
Good games as well. Yeah. That's the thing. They were just like, I wanted to make an MMO, but I didn't have the server knowledge. I studied like computer science, focused on servers. Now I'm making the tool for
So go give them a little look, because they make these things possible.
Yeah, link is in the description of the YouTube video. All right, next topic. You want to cover this one?
Yeah, sure. So last week we covered, hey, Nintendo was like, what was it, 40, 50%? I don't remember the exact number.
44% or something down.
Yeah, they were down year over year in their quarterly sales of the Switch. And this week we got numbers on Sony, and that means that it was 27% down year over year. Yeah. Now, some things to keep in mind. First of all, the PS5 is of course newer. We looked it up, it was like 2020. So it's now in its November, it will be 4 years, if I remember correctly.
Switch is like 7 plus almost 8 years at this point.
We kind of need to keep that in mind. But another interesting graph, I looked it up, is this graph. Marnix, you haven't seen this yet. This was a surprise I had.
Okay, I have not.
What I really wonder is...
Pull it up on stream.
Yeah, it is on stream.
Like on my screen, so I can see what it is.
Okay, so basically this graph covers the previous PlayStations and in what year they had their peak sales.
Okay.
So we are now in the 4th year, and usually after the 4th year, it starts dropping.
Okay.
That's what we see from this graph. That's how it usually goes, so like 4 or 5 years. So we aren't at 4 years yet, and we are already dropping. Mm-hmm. Do you think console life cycles will be shorter? And do you think that the PS5 is already dying? Is this a fluke, or what is your opinion on this?
Yeah, so I think this is something that I've heard people talk about before, because that's also like consoles also like everyone is porting their games to PC now as well. Like console exclusives don't really exist that much anymore. I think that's one problem. Also, I think the drop in sales for PS5. I think PS5 still is much more of a AAA platform than an indie platform compared to Sony, compared to Nintendo. Sorry. And there were no real big AAA games released this year as well. So, like, there were some, but compared to the previous years, not really, which is a very big increase normally for, like, selling those. Like, those are the console movers, like your big Call of Duties and whatever. But, for example, Jeff Keighley with, what was it, Summer Games Fest was like, yeah, don't get your hopes up. And it was so much indies instead, because AAA games also weren't doing that. Aren't consoles loss leaders? So selling the service like PSN is where they make their money. Console games. So the consoles, the physical hardware, yes.
Yeah,
and
but they usually do revisions. For example,
yeah.
they do it with the PS5. They're like 4 or 5 revisions. They don't change anything about the boxing or whatever, but they put in a smaller heatsink, or they change the design a bit so it's a bit more efficient, so they can then. But still, the point is that they get the money through their 30% cut for the game sales. It's the same as Steam, same with Microsoft as well. Yeah, but while that's true, do you think that it is sustainable? Because at some point, like someone mentioned, the jumps between consoles is getting lower and lower.
Yeah.
We had the last generation, we had the Pro versions, which are rumored to come once again.
Yeah.
And most games were, back in the day, optimized for one specific piece of hardware. I guess two, if you count both Microsoft and Sony. So they could optimize really well. Now that is going away because you now have to support an Xbox Series S, which is like very underpowered compared to a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X. So devs can now, I think, optimize less, which is basically going back to I'm almost having a PC now.
Yeah.
And at some point, do you think that the console generations, quote unquote, will go away and it will just be iterative updates, for example, like your smartphone?
I'm gonna actually pull up an article that I also saw pass by because it's part of this, where I think there was a Star Wars Jedi game that actually just got ported to PS4 finally. Which
Wait, to PS4?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it immediately. I'm gonna look at it. But let's keep going. I think the amount of the time between consoles is going to keep shrinking.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Especially like PS2 and PS3 was more bespoke hardware. Like the PS2 was not just a regular CPU. Whereas now I think like the Steam Deck runs like kind of the same CPU as the OG PlayStation or something like that, where both of them are like AMD based on the same chipset, but like different architectures. But still, like the performance is kind of similar there. Microsoft on the other hand seems to be pivoting more towards Game Pass Live Service. I think Sony isn't doing that much. Sony is still trying to look at indies as well, but I don't think it's going to be the thing that really saves their bottom line.
I honestly think that the only company that might keep on doing like the usual console releases and can succeed is probably Nintendo, because they just do quirky shit.
Yeah.
They don't make the spec machines, which Sony and Microsoft both do. Let's just be honest about this. The PS4, the PS5, what's different? You have a new controller and you have more speed.
The thing is also consoles like PS4 and PS5, they're like, oh, look at how beautiful Horizon is. This is like 4K next gen, and Nintendo Switch is like, we have good games. I think that's also a difference. And if you want to get to that high level of visuals, you need better performance. Although we're reaching like a plateau there where it can't look much more. I linked you with the article. Jedi Survivors get a September release for PS4 and Xbox One, which means
that came out like ages ago.
Yeah, it came out like 1 or 2 years or something. Which who asked for this? I don't know.
PC performance update.
Yeah, that as well. But this is a weird one. I don't really get it.
5 years after the events of the Jedi Fallen Order, sure, but when was it originally released? Does it say? So at the 17th of September, it's coming to PS4, which is like fine.
I think Jedi Survivor was 2022 or 2023. 2023, April 2023.
They called it the worst port of 2023.
I remember that, so they're finally fixing it. But that means like, does that mean that, hey, sales on PS5 weren't good enough, that we actually think there's still enough people who kept their PS4? Because
I think a lot of people keep their PS4.
FIFA, for example, you don't need to update as quickly.
Yeah, I actually think a lot of people don't upgrade it because the difference is getting less and less obvious.
Yeah.
If for example, someone mentioned GTA 6 will outsell the whole stock of the consoles.
I think,
Imagine, remember, GTA 5 released on the PS3.
Yeah, and then
so
PS4.
PS3, PS4, PS5. If Rockstar decides to also release on PS4, that statement is completely invalid. Because there are so many PS4s out there already. It will, there has to be a massive hit, for example, like a GTA 6, that moves those units. And it also has to not launch at the same time as on PC, which I think they already confirmed that PC port is coming later on.
Yeah, that's always the case. So, like a year later or something.
Yeah, so the only way that I think these machines will start selling massively again, like the only way that next year or in 2 years we will see it going up again after this dip, is if a massive game like that is the carry.
Volcanic in YouTube chat is right though. Whatever system comes out, we'll be sure that Todd Howard will port Skyrim to it.
And a lot of people would probably still buy it anyway. How many times did you buy Skyrim?
Oh, only once. I never bought it on other platforms. I'm not that hardcore on Skyrim, to be
Skyrim
honest.
is one of my favorite games. I think about it 2 or 3 times. I have it on PC. I bought Skyrim VR, but I refunded it because I got super motion sick.
Yeah, you're horrible at it.
And I also bought it on Switch. Because Skyrim Portable, I did an entire playthrough.
Oh, you did actually use it?
I played like 80 hours on Switch. The same with Witcher, by the way. I have it on PC, I also played it. Yeah, Witcher 3 over Skyrim, both are amazing. So I played both on PC and on Switch. And I think, but I don't remember entirely, that I also had a PS4 back in the day.
You got it on that as well?
I may have gotten it on my PS4 as well. So I am one of the reasons probably why Todd Howard is re-releasing it so often. But
yeah. Basically, the question here is, should you develop for PlayStation? It's kind of the one thing. I think once again, the first question is,
depends on your game.
Should you develop for console? I don't think every console is worth it.
Yeah,
to begin with, it depends once again on your genre. It depends if your genre supports controllers, really. Like Factorio has controller support, but it's a nightmare to make that game controller supported, basically.
Yeah, but I actually think a lot of indies should not port to
especially
consoles
not
in
your
general.
first games. It's not worth
definitely your first games. But I think stat-wise, there are not a lot of indie players on PlayStation, for example.
Yeah,
it's just because the normie crowd is on PlayStation because a computer is too complex. Because Steam, you have to deal with
it's much more expensive at the end of the day.
Yeah.
A lot of people also, like especially with PS3 and PS4, it's like a Blu-ray player as well.
Yeah,
that's how they got a lot of people to buy it originally.
Yeah, that's where it started in the PS2 era.
Yeah, PS2 was the DVD.
Yeah, but for example, if you have a kid later, you will not get, okay, maybe you will, but most people will not give their kid a PC early on. They will give them a PlayStation because it's more easy to use.
Yeah, and it's like what everyone uses. It's more easy to use.
Yeah, and in the end, like for example, here in Belgium, it is like entirely dominated by PlayStation.
I was like the kid who got bullied because I played on PC.
Yeah, but
people are like, "Do you play Call of Duty?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have 1,000 hours in Black Ops 2," and they're like, "Oh, add me on PSN." And I'm like,
"What is that?
Do you have Steam?" And then they bullied me. It's not
there. The only benefit of being in physical is I can comfort him when he's getting depressed again. In general, I think most indies should not develop for consoles unless there are genres that work really well.
If their genre fits it, if they come with native controller support.
Yeah, but for example, for us, porting Guild Architect or Forged Industry is like, why? Yeah. First of all, it takes ages to make it work properly with a controller, and then second of all, the market is not there.
Yeah. Speaking of markets, want to do the next one because you know more about it. We'll keep this one short maybe because we already harped on Apple a lot. But I felt like this is most of our audience is Steam developers, I think, but I still want to talk about the mobile stuff as well because this is kind of tech, kind of game dev related.
Yeah. So the Digital Markets Act in Europe has gotten some attention, and Apple has to comply. And in a typical Apple fashion,
malicious compliance.
They complied, but they did it in a way that is, I mean, in the end, maybe even more expensive than just doing it like completely through them.
If you think Unity's runtime fee, even the original one was bad, Apple looked at it and was like, bet, we can do one better.
Yeah.
So walk us through it.
So first of all, I think if you release on mobile, no matter the platform, if it's Google Play Store or the App Store, you pay a 30% fee when they make in-app purchase.
Yeah.
Which is the same as Steam, by the way. So that's already decent, even though Steam offers a lot more than just...
Actually, it's worse. Because, for example, let's say you guys are like, hey, these BiteMe guys are cool and we want to support them. And you want to become a YouTube member, for example.
Oh, yeah, true.
Because you get them
That's
cool
why Spotify
emotes.
is so angry with them.
Yeah, like everyone is, because I think it's normally like €3, and YouTube takes a 30% cut of that. But if you were to pay for that through your phone, for example, you would pay through Apple or the Play Store, because you have to. They force you to do it. That's like part of what this was supposed to counteract. They will take 30% of those €3, and then YouTube will take another 30% of whatever is left after that, and whatever is left of that, you get that. That's why, for example, subscribing to Netflix in certain apps, or like in the app, costs like $5 more. And I think they got taken down or something, or like one got taken down because they had a little link of, oh yeah, you could also just save money by paying on PC.
Yeah, Apple basically didn't allow external payment providers. So Spotify, Netflix, and so on. They could not say, hey, we redirect you to our site so you can check out there, you don't have to pay the fee, which is like, whatever, not a cool move. But now they do allow it. So yay, everything fixed, long live the EU, because the EU is the one that's forcing this. So Apple, in typical Apple fashion, is, first of all, you have the previously announced core technology fee. So it's 50 cents for each install in the first year for the first 1 million installs. You get 1 million installs on your free-to-play game, you owe them $500,000.
This is if you do from a side-loaded platform, right?
This is if you
don't use it from their own platform.
Yeah, so basically this means use our platform or you have to pay us a lot of money. Yeah. So what will most developers do? They will use their platform. So then let's
say you are adamant and you're like, hey, I will calculate in my price. You need to pay $5 for my apps or whatever.
Yeah, so the great news then is Apple will start claiming a 5% initial acquisition fees, how they call it. And that's basically, I'll just read it out loud. On any digital goods and services purchased during the first year after the initial install, they have to pay that 5%, and it is only for new users, which is like whatever. But
how you know that? Same problem as Unity as well.
Yeah,
it's like
trust me,
advanced algorithms.
Yeah, trust me, bro. On top of that, Apple will also claim a 10% store service fee for all purchases over the first 12 months, a charge it says reflects the ongoing services and capabilities that Apple provides developers. So, long story short, they complied.
But you still need to pay basically the exact same amount at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's probably maybe a little bit less, but it's a lot of hassle then. And I think this is just, the one. Remember last week we covered the Stop Killing Games initiative.
Yeah, ooh, spicy one.
Spicy topic right now, I know. But there were some people who said it's bad because regulators don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Is this an example of regulators don't know what they're doing? Because Apple did comply, but it's not a good result anyway.
I think this is going to be regulators look at this and regulators are going to be like, Apple, I swear to fucking God, if you change this one more time, I will curb stomp the shit out of you.
Yeah, I hope they do that because I also read somewhere that the fee, if they don't quote unquote comply, is 10% of their annual global earnings.
Yeah,
which is...
Europe has big fines.
They're like... They will comply or they will get royally fucked.
Yeah.
Because 10% of like the billions and billions they earn.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, we still want to talk about game life, right? So this sort of changes. The main thing here is how on earth are you still going to monetize apps? Does it still make sense to make mobile apps and monetizing them? Because there's only two ways basically that you can earn money. Either you have them ads, like in-app ads, like, oh, you fell, you need to click here and you get a free life or whatever. Or it's like, hey, you need to pay $3 for a game or whatever. But getting people to pay to begin with on your app, for example, is so hard. Like Stardew Valley and things like that, you cannot charge the same $14 for that game on mobile. People just don't want to spend as much, and there's nothing you can do about that. But getting it from AdSense, for example, or like in-app ads is also not the case. And if you then have the 30% cut and you can't even go to another platform, what the fuck do you do? Is basically what it comes down to. So yeah, mobile development is less of what we focus on here on this channel. Are you looking? Oh, they have a calculator?
They have a calculator. I'm playing with it to see.
Okay. I'll buy you a few more seconds of time. Yeah, ads on mobile are very annoying. It depends as well, because the more intrusive the ad, the more the people earn. Like if you have... Also, it's like other regulations, like for example, I think EU also does it where, hey, you need to be able to decline like the targeted ads and things like that. Look at what Meta did with, we can't harvest the data, so you have to pay $10 a month if you do not want targeted ads or like don't want advertising. So it gets really hard to monetize all of that. So I think at the end of the day, we're complaining a lot about, Steam is oversaturated, Steam is really hard, but I think developing for for mobile is even harder at the end of the day. So have you gotten anything interesting yet?
So I did a little simulation. I'll put it up on screen. So I made a simulation where I have 50K in a year.
50K what, installs?
Dollars of revenue.
Oh, you
So
earn...
how much in annual sales?
Okay.
I said 50K. I said, hey, we're a small business because you're small. Otherwise, you have to pay like double. So this is the best case scenario. To reach that 50K, I said 100,000 installs. We probably
one
need
thing,
more.
by the way, for that Apple small business program, I remember they got flagged for this because you basically need to submit like all of your legal documents.
Let's say no then. So how many installs? I said 100K. I think if you have 50K revenue and 100K installs, you're probably doing really good already.
Yeah, I think that's...
So I think it's optimistic. Then I said the new terms and global revenue. We just started out, so just say we didn't have any global revenue before. So the default way that you, the default price that you would pay is, first of all, 652 euros on App Store commission, monthly, by the way.
Yeah.
Monthly.
So this is
111 euros for the processing of the app, and then if the page wants to scroll down, Apple, your UX is shit. So you pay 76 euros per month for your 50K per year. Yeah,
and this is if you don't use the App Store, or
this is if you use the App Store.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like it sounds all right at the end. Oh no, because they're free. Oh no, you pay revenue based. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not great.
And all right, so let's do the App Store, but we have an alternative payment method.
Oh yeah, this is what I want to know now. How's the difference?
So what do you think?
I think
it's actually not as bad as I expected.
Ah, that's good.
So first of all, you still pay your App Store commission. So it's 652 euros still.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay.
So it's 150 bucks cheaper.
Oh.
So if you just say alternative method, that's it. So alternative marketplace is then you don't have to pay anything.
Yeah. Okay. I
Which
see.
is
So yeah.
Great. So I said alternative marketplace and also and the payment processing we currently have.
Yeah.
And then the same for if you do an alternative app marketplace and a payment processing, you pay more once again.
Yeah.
Because you don't do anything with Apple and they want you to...
if you put it on both of the platforms at the same time, that's when you have to pay more.
Yeah, so it's basically you put everything on Apple, you pay the most, but you probably have the best service.
Yeah.
You put one of the... so you say, okay, I put it on the App Store, not on a third-party marketplace. But I use another payment method.
Yeah, Stripe
for example,
whatever.
Stripe, whatever Spotify is going to do. You pay a bit less. It's like 150 a month.
Yeah, not
less.
And
so
you need to suddenly implement all of the own custom stuff.
Yeah, so you pay like 80% of the price anyway. This is, of course, with our simulation now. If you have bigger numbers, it will get worse. Because now we are basically having payment processing almost for free.
Yeah. And then if you put it on
a different market,
but not on the App Store, so only on like whatever the Epic Game Store for mobile, then you pay nothing.
You pay it on the Epic Game Store, but you still use Apple processing, payment processing. Then you pay nothing, but that's only because we are under the
small business
thingy. And if you say I put it on the Epic Game Store, and I don't use Apple processing, I have to pay up money again.
How much is it in total then? How much?
326.
So
it's like
half.
384. So it's a bit over half.
Yeah, but still, it's
but
still
for
a
not
lot
doing
of,
anything.
Yeah, it's a lot of hoops you need to jump
And also the 50K is revenue annually. This is what you pay monthly.
Yeah.
So you have to do it times 12.
Yeah.
So they basically take
20%. Yeah. Okay.
We're
not going to develop for Apple anytime soon. That's the moral of the story here. But let's move on to some happy news. Good news.
Do we have happy news?
I have good news. Steam is getting better and becoming more modern. I originally had one like kind of basic topic. Let's go through that first, where you may have gotten an email if you're a Steam developer. Steam has doubled the resolution of all of its assets. They were, in my opinion, having made the capsule art for our games, super low res. I think the small capsule is like 270 pixels by 160, and it's just too low. Like your fonts and everything, it just gets blurred. So what they have announced now is it got doubled in size, everything. So your capsule is now like over 1,000 pixels, like tall or whatever. Is good, I think. Like higher resolution is better. I don't know why it took them until 2024 basically to come to the level of 2012.
I love how you look at your watch to realize it's 2024.
Yeah. But it's kind of still ant-sized thumbnails for trailers. Yeah, that's one thing, I guess. But they've been catching a lot of like W's lately, honestly. Like with the demo system, I think it's still net positive at the end of the day.
It's to be determined, in my opinion.
Yeah, to be determined. I think they're trying at least. They're not stagnant. Yeah. This is also like, they say it's for the Steam Deck OLED, but it's like a tiny screen. Ooh. How are you gonna see the double?
Okay, do you want to do tinfoil hats?
Yeah, so one of the things I had here is that, Steam claims this will be noticeable on the Steam Deck OLED. My tinfoil hat is that they're planning a full store overhaul at some point.
All right, I have a completely different tinfoil hat. I think they will bring back Steam machines.
Because you're watching like more on TV again. Yeah. Because of the higher resolution. Because every TV is 4K.
Is now getting so much more robust with Steam Deck. Mm-hmm. It is basically big picture mode on steroids.
Yeah.
I think they will recreate Steam machines and try to get into that market as well. And they will release their own Steam box.
No, I know it. But they're going to push not Steam machines. They're going to push docking Steam Decks. I think
there is already a dock.
Yeah, there is already a dock and like the big picture mode. I guess that is where you see it more. This is all tinfoil hat once again, guys. So
yeah, it's tinfoil hat, but these are our predictions.
This is what I would guess.
Yeah, I would guess Steam machines are making a return. In some way, like
pushing for TV gaming, basically.
Yeah.
I had one more thing here. If you did upload your Steam assets right now, there's a grace period until November, I think. If you have the article still pulled up, it's in there.
The second one or the first?
The first one.
Okay, yeah.
It's in like their FAQ, like what if so previous sizes are supported in November. Yeah. So if you upload them now, you can still do the smaller size. We uploaded like our Guild Architect ones like a month ago or something. So will I redo them? Maybe actually, because I have the assets and it is higher quality, but it's kind of low prior right now. Mm-hmm. You don't need to update your assets. You can, but it's not required. Only after November, you'll have to do it. But this is kind of smaller news. There's actually a second thing related to Steam that came out like hot off the press yesterday, which was originally a Reddit post where Steam is trialing out review filtering. So you've probably had this experience before. Maybe on your own games even, you look at a review of a game and it's like, best game my dad made me leave or something because of it. And it's like, good, it's a positive rating, but what does this mean? Or there's this other like reviewer that's like the annoying crow or something that's just like, caw, and that's their review.
Yeah, there are a lot of like meme moderators or whatever it's called.
Yeah, or like random images and things like that.
Or like, this game is, or they also say like a name, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah. You've got the article open.
Yeah, it's open.
There should be I think if you open the Reddit post, it should open like how it looks in Steam, where basically now
Steam subreddit.
It's a bit of a it's not rolled out yet, so you cannot see this right now, but it was spotted in the wild.
You mean this, right?
Yeah, it's this one basically, and it's kind of like they did an A/B test.
Helpfulness system feature.
Yeah. How will they determine what is helpful and things like that? That's to be determined. I guess they're just trying it out right now.
Just accept your corporate overlords already. Don't ask questions. They know better what is and isn't helpful.
I think they were going to, I think this is probably going to be something where you can give like you can already do like, this is a funny review, good review, bad review, maybe like start filtering on that stuff as well.
Yeah. What do you think about the changes? Do you like it?
I think this is great, yeah. The thing is also, this is more of a player-focused thing, I think, than a developer-focused. Because at the end of the day, the unhelpful reviews basically will still count as far as I mean, there's not been an official blog post yet. Probably maybe next week or in a few weeks we can cover more about this. My guess is that the unhelpful reviews will still just as well count to your total review score and
I
the
think
discovery queue.
They will count, but they will just not show up for others.
Yeah,
or something
like
that.
Which does still help. Like, you do not want to have your indie game with 12 reviews. Have like 4 of the reviews be like, oh, so funny. Good, I came in my pants 7 times. That's not like an ideal comment to have.
Yeah, I mean, but the reviews are funny. Like, a lot of people go to the reviews because they know it's funny. Don't you think they lose value there?
I don't know. I mean,
not really value, but it's still funny.
Honestly, the only times I read reviews is to like find out what our competition is doing. I don't really look at review. I just look at the score in general, mixed, positive or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm personally not someone who scrolls down all the way. Some people probably do. I think this is still, like, once again, this is part of the whole strategy of, I think Steam is going up to a big overhaul of their platform. Maybe. I think this is still going to be like a year out or whatever. But they're like slowly like, hey, changing NextFest, changing how live stream works, changing the assets, changing how reviews works. They're doing a lot of changes suddenly.
Are they not going to be so democratic anymore then? They are changing a lot of things. Is it for the good or the better? Good or bad
think
for
they
the
have
indies?
to. I don't think they
I mean,
have to.
that doesn't. Yeah, they don't have to. But will they if there's more money in it?
It depends on if Gaben's farm in New Zealand, he needs like a new specialty sheep or something, then maybe he'll start selling ad spots. But I think...
Gaben,
right
do you
now-
want to publish our game, by the way? I know you're watching this.
I don't think that's happening. He's
What do you mean? Out of the 100 people here,
He's-
how is Gaben and who did I call it earlier? Video Game Donkey not watching? It's like 100 people.
yeah. So yeah, it's. I think it's good. I think maybe this is once again tinfoil hat. Maybe it's because of like Epic Games also kind of being behind the like, you guys suck, and you're like, no, we don't. Here, we'll show you. We'll make our platform even better, so you can't compete.
Do you think they feel the heat from Epic Games?
I don't think they actually care.
Okay, because I was like, you really think so?
No, they do not care. It's like an annoying fly that
I mean,
keeps you up at night.
I think it's suicide for an indie to only release on the Epic Games.
Yeah,
Store. You can do both, no problem. But if you had to pick one, I think 99.9% of the time you should pick Steam.
Yeah,
And yeah,
they're improving. This is good news at least. It's
Yeah,
not the Unity sales going down, no publisher.
Yeah.
These are still good things.
higher res assets.
Because
Win of the week.
We talked about it at the beginning as well, like how are we going to improve the publishing stuff? Steam will have to change probably, like with that, like maybe Greenlight or whatever. Maybe this is just like leading up to it. Maybe Steam is looking at those things, and they do want to look more at the helpfulness and things like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes, but I hope Steam does good stuff. We have one final small mention. This is not really much of a news topic, but the number one tool for game references, basically, what's it called? Game UI database.
You mentioned this site before.
Yeah, has finally gotten its 2.0 release. So this has been in the works since I think 2017. It's an old site. We've talked about in our video 7 resources for game devs, where if you're ever working on the UI and you're like, how do I style my settings menu or my heads-up display or whatever on my loading screen? GameUIDatabase.com, I think, is the...
Yeah, let's maybe do it. What do you want to do? Let's make a mode selection.
Oh, I cannot really see your screen well, so I'm just gonna...
Yeah, that's fine. So basically, you go to the website. This is a new UI now.
Yeah.
And I just had like, I'll do it again. Maybe I went a bit too quick. You have a search bar. You click on it. You get like, hey, what do you want to do? I'm like, okay, a screen category. I can make a title screen, character select, a success, a failure, health and vitals, whatever. Let's now select inventory, and you now have a lot of games, and you see how their UI looks for their inventory. So hey, for Bayonetta 2, they use this inventory system, and you can see different versions. So for example, let's take Bloodborne then, and now you see how the system in Bloodborne works.
One other
video
thing that you can see right
through.
now, the videos is new. So their old system only features static images. Now they have videos as well of like the UI, seeing them in motion, seeing them in animation. This is a really good resource if you're like kind of stuck on how do I do my UI.
Yeah.
And it's gotten, they got like a whole bunch of extra games also added and things like that. So
this is great for inspiration.
It's basically a great thing. One other notable thing that I wanted to quickly shout out is that AdCodes has a explicitly, because once again, a whole lot of screenshots, a lot of data, AI training set. It's maybe something that you're thinking right now. AdCodes has been ahead of you. He's spoken out on XD Everything app that he hates any AI company basically, which is a fair statement if you're a game developer. Multiple AI companies have already reached out to him asking for like, hey, can we buy the data? Can you get an API endpoint and things like that? He basically told them all to pound sand and like told that the site has been like made to not be easy for like AI scraping and things like that, because God knows that I don't need another AI UI generator right now, probably.
But it could help us make good UI for Guild Architect.
Yeah, but I don't
No,
think...
this is a joke. I think actually the site is great.
Yeah,
Barnik showed it before to me. And he told me then a couple of days or this week somewhere they did update, so it's great.
Yeah. So that's it. Those were all the topics we had, guys. Once again, for the people listening to audio, thank you so much for listening either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. For those who are watching this live on YouTube or Twitch, don't leave yet. We're doing an after party still.
Yep.
We're shutting it down for the podcast people though. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to join us next week, we do these live streams every Saturday at 8 p.m. Central European Time, live on YouTube, youtube.com/BiteMeGames.
And Twitch.
And Twitch, twitch.tv/BiteMeGames. So maybe go and head on out. Otherwise, I'm interested, do you think Unity will recover? You can leave comments down below as well. And if you haven't done so yet, especially on Spotify, give us a rating. It would really help us out. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
We're staying here, YouTube people. Don't leave.
No, bye-bye. We here.
We're here, but this is the after party. So, what did you think? Don't leave, Benjamin. Don't leave.
Benjamin, it's a trap. It was a joke.
This is always the bit. Okay, we call them.
Yeah.
So
you're not getting rid of us that easily.
Yeah. What are the thoughts? We're doing this physically now. How is the vibes? Give us your thoughts. The channel has been great. Yeah, it's good to hear. Viewer count actually stayed the same, luckily. So most of our OGs are still here. Speaking of viewer count, though,
how did Twitch perform?
Twitch performed horribly.
Yeah, because I felt like
we had like 3 viewers almost the entire time. Normally you have like 10, 15.
Yeah. So what happened? What did we do wrong? Are we falling off? Do you guys hate us already?
No, because YouTube is up, I think. So it's good. Real men use YouTube. That's the spirit, Rohan.
It's Saturday lunchtime in the US. Yeah, so you can watch us while having lunch. Isn't that ideal? Or what is your point?
Is this lunch?
Is it lunchtime, by the way? Yeah.
It depends on where you are. Yeah, it's morning if you're East Coast. No, if you're West Coast, it's lunchtime if you're East Coast.
Yeah, we don't really know when the best time is.
This is according to YouTube the best slot. So
Twitch doesn't like visible tables. Wait, is that serious?
No, I don't think so.
It's a joke, right?
Yeah, we'll add a hot tub in the background, and that will get a lot of views next time. No, just watch on YouTube. Honestly, I think
whatever
YouTube
you
is
prefer.
Better. Yeah. Were there some questions that we kind of?
I mean, I think there were a lot of things, but
yeah,
since we're here physically, I only have one monitor, so I couldn't really keep an eye on chat.
Yeah, it's a bit more stressful if it's just one monitor.
So if you have any questions you asked earlier and we didn't reply,
yeah.
We don't really do it while we're doing the podcast that often, so you can just resend them now, and we will probably answer.
Yeah,
at least if you.
One thing here is that one thing I want to talk, because remember I said like, oh, Godot is better for NSFW, like. What's the source for that, basically, right? Flair told me that there's no policy for what you can or cannot make with Godot compared to Unreal Engine or Unity. So it's good for NSFW, especially in the most questionable times.
Is there a clause for Unity?
I don't know if I want to make... Okay.
But there are so many... Yeah. NSFW, I wanted to say another word.
Even like very like edgy, like snuff and whatever stuff.
I don't think there is one.
So, yeah. Have you guys... I don't think that really is a thing. I think you can make NSFW games in any genre. Vankel is in YouTube chat also. Have you guys considered doing interviews with any indie devs? Could do well on the podcast.
All right, hear me out. I'll answer this one.
Okay.
I have been asking Marnix for the ages to do collabs with other YouTubers, people from the industry, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, in general, I think he's not against it. The main issue I think he has is the audio quality.
Yeah,
and that is something I actually agree with. So unless we have someone who we know can give good enough audio quality
and video,
and video quality, if there can't be any delay, basically.
Yeah. Also, a lot of people
because there's interaction.
Yeah.
So we are thinking about it. We haven't worked out the details.
Like shout out, maybe I didn't respond to their email.
Oh, wait, are we?
So maybe they're watching this because I know they watch our channel, but the people from Outbound, which is like the cozy RV camping game, you maybe have seen it. They got like 100,000.
I'm gonna Google it.
They got like 100,000 push lists. I think that's the name. They had a massive launch on IGN and things like that. Basically, look at the Thomas Brush video.
Oh yeah,
that one. Are you sharing your screen so people can see what's going on? Oh, it's Tiny Teams right now as well. I didn't know. Basically, they sent me an email of like, hey, you want to get us on the podcast or do an extra video because we're launching our Kickstarter soon. The problem I have is they're Dutch. I'm joking. I know.
I know. Someone is going to clip this. Why would you know? Whatever.
It's a bit of a mix also where I feel like... What do we add more? It's always like it's a bit of a... we can probably add some more stuff, but it's also... I don't want to do like only... Shout out Thomas Brush. Only interviews. Or like mainly interviews. I don't think that's what we want to do right now. And then also audio is something that I personally really care a lot about. I physically cringe when I see like collab videos where like the audio is bad, the video quality is bad. I would rather just not do them then. And what I am open for is like IRL collabs. I would love to do that. Things like if I go to a Gamescom or whatever and someone else is there, like I didn't know Mark Brown from GMTK was going to be at Develop Brighton. If I did know, I would have like pumped out a video with him probably. I would have figured out something. I am down for that because I control more of the variables. We can probably mesh out just a better video in general.
Yeah. So do you think we should proactively do this? So, if, for example, we are going to Gamescom.
No one is going to Gamescom though.
Okay, maybe not Gamescom.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I guess you're fine.
So, yeah, it's like we've been definitely approached. Thomas is also, we need to do collabs, but it's also like, once again, we
are open for it, for sure.
It's just, I haven't seen like a good collab. Like also,
there are good collabs.
What do you think of the one that Code Monkey did recently with Chris Zukowski? Where he made like multiple videos, he did the streams, he did trailer breakdowns and things like that. The problem there is, once again, it's like to push the course, and there's probably like, it's good.
Different topic.
But no, I look at that and I
have respect for both of them, but
it
I think what they do is
too much
good.
there as well. I think it was like 3 or 4 videos in a row, and that was only everything.
Yeah, I think the main issue that we would have, I think, is actually, if, for example, Chris Zukowski is like, hey, I want to do a video with you guys, we'll be like, awesome. And if he then says, to push my course, then we'd be like...
The thing is, that makes sense, because it needs to be a win-win. And
of course.
I haven't found like good win-win options, really.
The thing is, we don't want to try and push something on you guys, I think. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think a lot of people want something back. If it's like a smaller creator, they probably just want the publicity or whatever, because... And that's fine, but then what do they offer us? Can they give good insights? Yeah,
and it's like, what if you get Dr. Disrespected? What if they... So I would rather just prefer not to deal with it. That was a comment I wanted to respond to. Gamescom, you know. The thing is, I like people like Code Monkey. Like the only event that a lot of game devs goes is like a Unity Unite. We run into Code Monkey there.
There's a picture of Marnix flexing with.
There's a video of Marnix flexing with Code Monkey.
He was very cool, by the way.
Yeah, he's very nice, but I think also to a certain degree, if Code Monkey goes to Gamescom, he needs to go with like 2 buff bodyguards around him, with the skill that he is.
Yeah, luckily I got my bodyguard already.
And we're simply not as famous, which also helps. So I'm very curious how Gamescom will be, honestly, because I talked about this to Thomas. Last year we had 6,000 subs, we got recognized like 3 or 4 times. This time, I already know of 3 viewers who have booths at Gamescom. They're like, oh, come and join us. And we've got like 5 times the scale. We've gotten hundreds of thousands of views in the last like few years, last year. It'll be an experience, I think. So
yeah, and you can join in the experience because we're doing the first day completely live.
Yeah, so the idea right now is that we'll be doing the 21st, right? The day after your birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
So come say happy birthday to me if you're at Gamescom, by the way.
We'll be trying.
You can sing on stream. I'll allow it.
Don't get us copyright strike.
Yeah,
we'll be trying to live stream the entire event as well, so you can just tune into the stream and see us.
Yeah. Are you guys willing to critique game design though?
So this is a thing. This is like my video idea. There's this YouTube video.
First, before you answer, sorry, we don't have a negative view on game design documents. We actually game design courses.
What are you talking about?
He's
talking about the courses. So
yeah, courses. They are not bad.
The thing is,
it depends.
No.
Yeah.
I think some are bad.
Yeah, but that's why I say they are not bad, and I change it to it depends.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say is there's this great YouTube video from, I don't know him, he's a mainstream YouTuber, where they look at courses from Ali Abdaal, he's like a $4 million subscriber productivity YouTuber, and I think Jake Tran and a bunch of others, and they go through it and they're like, they rate it all. The problem is, guys, I am not going to spend $4,000 because that's how much these courses cost on making a video where I maybe go and shit on another developer. I don't think that's like a smart move. So it's one of the things that the Marnix in me wants to do, but the person who has a YouTube channel to run that does not want to get canceled and lose all of our revenue is like, okay, let's wait with this. I'm very much against. We can tier list the game design courses and like the Chris Zukowski marketing, ultimate pitching and things like that.
They definitely have value, but I don't think we necessarily have a negative view on them. It just, we don't know the value, and we know they ask a lot of value in money-wise.
Yeah.
And the only thing I care about is, with almost everything in life, is what do you get for your money? We cannot say that.
I'll say something.
That's the only
There's
thing
a good approach to courses though, and that is what CodeMonkey does. I really like the way CodeMonkey does it, where the courses are actually free, and it's almost crowdsourced, where people can also buy the course for like $100, which is still an acceptable price if you ask me. Like $1,000, even if it's like on sale all the time for like $500, is still, it feels a bit meh. But like $100 if you want to support CodeMonkey for like his 10-hour courses, those are good deals, I think. Those are good approaches. If we would ever make a course, I would only want it to do that way, basically. The thing is also, I know how the sausage is made. There's this book called Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. He's like a trilogy, .com secrets, expert secrets, traffic secrets. It's the book that is the blueprint step by step that every single person who makes a course follows that. How they do the funnel pages, how they structure the course, how they push the course. Read that book if you are interested in how do these courses actually work. Are they grifters? Are they all of that stuff? It's really interesting. It's actually something that I've been wanting to do a book club video about, where it's like all these YouTubers are lying to you or something like. But it
sounds like a 10 out of 10, by the way.
No,
10 out of 10 is like.
No, it's a 1 out of 10.
You think so?
It would be a 1 out of 10 if I talk about how other YouTuber courses are bad.
Okay, yeah. If you phrase it like that.
That would be the idea, where I talk more about the thoughts behind.
You
how
really
those
like when
courses
people
work.
hate you, don't you?
Yeah.
But in summary, I don't think think they are bad. I think we haven't experienced them yet, so we cannot really say anything about it. That's at least my stance. I don't know if you want to summarize your stance on it again.
I have never paid for a course, I think. Also, once again, courses are one of those things where you need to keep in mind our background. We come from Belgium, and for the price of a Thomas Brush course, it costs the same as going to university for 1 full year. We're getting a computer science degree. If you're from the US and you pay $60K a year or whatever, like retarded amount of money it is for going to university, spending $1,000 on a course or $500, it's like, all right. Yeah. But for us, it just sounds crazy. YouTube is a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Also, BiteStream. See you followed on Twitch. Thank you. Now we have time for doing the shout-outs again.
Can I say something, by the way? I'm kind of offended.
You are offended.
We have more viewers on the Afterparty than during BiteStream itself. We were at like 90.
I mean, maybe it's coincidence.
Yeah.
But hey, people that didn't watch BiteStream, you know worries, you can watch the VOD later today, tomorrow, whatever. Or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
So yeah,
we are everywhere now.
Courses is a whole topic. Probably stay away from it for a while though.
I think there's also, we're going deep into the courses rabbit hole, but I think courses that say, hey, I will teach you how to sell a game for get publisher deal for 100K and teach you how to make a game. Meh. If you have a course that says, I will teach you Unity, ECS, and dots.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think those are
There's
also
a big difference there.
I think technical courses are also generally great. Yeah. I have trouble with the courses that are like, hey, buy this, you can quit your job, you can make games full time, and it's like B-roll footage of like a sunny beach in Nice, and so
I mean, they have success stories and they probably do work, but I think they only work for a small percentage.
Yeah, definitely. Like that, half of the people Thomas Brush interviews are people who have taken his course. So definitely, they're still successful people. The question is it the course? Is it the people? You never know.
Yeah.
So
now,
we just offended every single YouTube game dev I feel.
Probably,
because I think they watch us.
But I will now actually defend them.
Okay.
Okay, this is probably the weakest defense ever, by the way. But something that I have, for example, last year or 2 years ago, I don't remember, you convinced me to start going to the gym.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not convinced, but you were definitely...
How much do you bench? Tell chat.
No, you know I just had a shoulder injury. I don't know.
No,
So let me talk my story. So one of the things that I did then was like, all right, so Marnix is saying, if you start out, you can maybe try some protein powder or whatever. He wants to make me a gym bro, which is like cool. And one of the things that works for me is having a commitment somehow. And that commitment for me was, all right, I go to a store and I buy gym clothes. I buy a shaker, all those things. So I have monetary commitment already.
You get the gym subscription. That's a big one.
Yeah, you get the gym subscription. You pay for the entire year. And the reason I do that is mostly because if I decide to do it 1 month later, I'm looking back like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, but then I paid X amount of money for getting the clothes, getting the subscription, getting everything. I'm like, yeah, that's not worth it. I'm gonna keep doing it. Maybe the other courses can do the same.
Yeah, definitely. That's what
they will help you perform.
Yeah,
like they will probably do follow up like every month, like you on Patreon, for example.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what do you think of our Patreon then? Do you also chat? Maybe this is a good point because I have the live interaction here. We don't have courses, but we do still get flack for being called grifters sometimes because on Patreon, for 50 euros a month, which is not cheap at the end of the day, like that's also 600 euros a year. You can also get the Patreon Pro subscription. And what that means is once every month I will call with you directly and we will talk about your game and the problems and you can talk everything to me. I am personally much more okay with that, even though it doesn't earn as much because I can't scale to hundreds of thousands of people because every person takes 45 minutes to an hour of my time at least. And prep time and follow-ups during the entire period. I think that is still morally better because I think it's a much better value offer. You also get all of our content on Patreon. And this is maybe the time to Patreon. Yeah, so Vankel is like, I have it and I can say it's invaluable because just having someone, like it's like me being like every month, like Thomas, how much did you gain in the gym? Like how much have you benched? Yeah, but
that's what I mean. I had the monetary commitment and if their course contains that, because they often have some way of like, it's like a 6-month program and I will talk with you every month or every 2 weeks or whatever. I think those are the biggest values that they offer because everything else in the course you can probably find on the internet, just maybe in different sources or different places or whatever, but I think you can do it. How much is it? I just posted the link.
It's a thing. Thanks for following, by the way, Sarah Bowles. Oh, I didn't read Twitch chat at all, actually.
Yeah, but Twitch chat wasn't really active. Oh, I hear the sound now from Sarah.
I see here, Ryan, if you don't need outlines and course plans and can learn, there's a lot of free info to be found. Yeah. So one thing that is on my like infinite goal list of if BiteMe gets more successful is something like the CS50. There's like an open source CS50 is what it's called, where it's the outline, it's a GitHub repo. There's like a 1-year outline of getting a computer science degree with all of the structure of, hey, if you want to learn like algorithms, go here. If you want to learn like assembly or whatever, go here. Doing something like that for game developers is like one of my dream goals. So I made a video, for example, recently that nobody watched, unfortunately, which is like the ultimate guide to self-publishing your game. I would love to be able to extend that to a like free course almost that is just the outline basically of how does it work, or like where do you go for marketing, you go to Chris Zukowski, where do you go for trailers, you go to Directeur, all of that stuff. So I don't make all of the content, but I just aggregate, these are good YouTube channels for these topics and things like that. Those would be better approaches as well, but once again, you can't monetize that. But yeah, you need some structure sometimes. Some people need to follow.
Yeah, that's what those courses do well, in my opinion. Also, Vankel, you're like a great salesperson for the Patreon, thank you. But the Patreon is not just talking to Marnix, it's also videos.
It's also like 4 extra videos every week. No
month. Jesus.
4 extra videos every month. Every month. Talking about like more in-depth stuff like publishing. It talks about all of the financials of running our studio and things like that.
Some things that will perform horribly on YouTube. I think the most valuable thing I think we have on there is a video where you have an actual publisher contract.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Raw Fury's contract. We talked about them earlier. Ooh. It has a lot of red flags. And there's a video like talking about, hey, how does publishing work? How does Kickstarter work? You can download the contract. It's a whole stuff. Like, yeah.
Sarah, glad you like the videos. Welcome to Twitch.
Yeah.
Good luck with your game.
How many viewers do we have on Twitch? Nice. 7.
Also, it's increasing once again. People just hate BiteStream and want to just hear us talk random stuff. So, great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so... How do we get here? Courses.
Courses, I think they can offer value. I think some specific types of people need them, so it's good that they exist. Other people, for them, it's worthless.
Yeah.
Like, I know I need my commitment. If I was a solo dev, I had the tendency of the shiny object syndrome really hard. I make a game, work it for a month, stop.
Yeah, you need that
And
accountability.
now I have an accountability partner. I have literally one of my closest, two of my closest friends. Their wage is depending also on me, because if I don't perform, well, BiteMe goes under and they don't get paid. So, I mean, like you get paid now, but details.
To bring it to a different topic, Alvaro in YouTube chat is, would you recommend streaming game dev on YouTube or Twitch?
It performs horribly, no.
Yeah, so the one thing to keep in mind is, remember, like, this looks good. Like, hey, we're streaming, we've got like about 100 concurrent viewers. Awesome, right? But keep in mind, we have 30,000 subscribers built upon over 2 years. I think it's extremely hard to start game dev, YouTube or Twitch, especially if you do like coding streams. I think growing from that is extremely, extremely hard. It's just not worth it. Because also, that's something that Thomas and both William have learned now. Coding streams, they kill your efficiency. Now, this is only a problem if you have someone in chat. But still...
But you want people in chat usually.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you start out with a fresh account, and like, no one will... It's like a bit sad sometimes when you see like those streams. It's like 4-hour stream and it's only like one mod who talks, basically. It kills your focus if someone is like talking, and the work you do, you're gonna have to redo it. It's not as vibe. It's so. Yeah. I wouldn't do it.
We literally tag tickets in Guild Architect with the tag coding stream when they're like easy to do, visual, whatever, because you cannot think properly. You're like, you work on it, you see a message appear, and like, oh, I need to reply. You lost your focus. You're gone. Yeah. You have to start over. And if you then want to tackle big issues, which are probably the most interesting for people that like code, but then uninteresting for people like art, they want to see
also,
progress.
It takes a long time to implement certain things. Yeah.
So
no idea how to get eyes on my game. I'm trying out stuff. You just try out everything.
Yeah. So if you ever want to make content, I think the only way to do it is get super lucky with your first video, which is really hard, so that's not a good strategy. Like, hope is not a strategy.
Hope is not a strategy.
Hope is not a strategy. The only way to do it is just grind. Keep on grinding. So when we started out, our first videos got like 50 views.
No, it got 20 views, and it was your mom, my grandma,
William's entire family,
his sisters, William, his mom.
Yeah, so
and it was rough, guys.
Yeah, and I remember you were like, I work on one video every week, because we had one video then.
Yeah.
And it's like 20 people maybe see it, and I worked for this for like 2 days. And it's like, okay, maybe not 2 days, but you get the point. Very long time.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn. And then you have to
looking back, it's crazy how we, like, one of the things I'm most proud of is just the fact that we have been uploading 2 videos every week, well, 3 with the Patreon, 3 videos every week consistently for over a year, which is in YouTube, like, the grinds that YouTubers have, that is nuts, especially in game dev. Almost no one does it. Like, Code Monkey does it and Thomas Brush does it, but Thomas Brush is like recuts of like some of the interviews lately.
He doesn't upload consistently?
No, but he still uploads like 3 videos a week sometimes. Like, he does an interview and then he uploads the full interview, he uploads like certain parts of it as well.
Yeah, first of all, time-wise, it's probably not worth it, because you probably want to work on your own game. And like, I think I said it last week or a couple of videos ago, I don't remember, but the grind set Mardix put in for the YouTube channel is actually insane. Like, if you start out and you're basically talking into a void every week, you talk to a camera and
you need to find things to be interesting. We're at over 200 videos. I still don't know where I get the idea.
Yeah, so that's one of the main things that I think is super respectable at Mardix is just his consistency. And I think if you don't have the consistency, you will not like reach good levels on a streaming platform, on a YouTube channel or whatever.
Yeah, you need to be in here for the long game. It's like game dev. You can't expect to make a banger hit for your first game.
So just the same with like, we're starting at Twitch, great. It's going rough. Like, let's be honest, we have like 90 to 100 viewers on YouTube, and like we had like 6 maybe average. If I'm
this is the worst Twitch stream I think we've done so far.
It's like 6 viewers on Twitch. It's like great, but that's not what we are going for.
Yeah.
But we're not going to stop streaming on Twitch, because we're once again here for the long run. We think that's an extra platform we can actually, grow on. So what do we do now? Well, we keep streaming consistently on both platforms and grow.
Yeah.
And that's, in my opinion, the only way.
Yeah. I have a question here. Wait, where was it? How the fuck do I say this? Arg PvP, PvP with medical disease and more. Est-ce que vous êtes français, francophone?
Non, je ne suis pas francophone.
Well, we're Belgian, but we're from the good part of Belgium.
No, but we did since like
basically in Belgium.
since like 12 or something. You
No, 5.
5?
Yeah, you start in second grade of.
No, 5th grade of.
No, I started second year.
5e leerjaar.
No, tweede leerjaar.
Really?
Really?
I think.
So I studied.
Oh no, English was 5.
Yeah, English is later than
true.
French.
Yeah.
And we got it like 3 to 5 hours a week usually. So I've learned a lot of French.
Ouais.
Je ne peux pas parler vraiment. C'est un peu.
Ouais. C'est terrible.
C'est terrible, mais mon accent de français, c'est pas comme terrible comme une personne francophone qui parlait en anglais.
Ouais.
Because I recently got with like a French guy and it was so rough. Like also like some GDC talks with like French people are literally impossible to listen to because of their accent that is so strong. Anyone who actually speaks French, I'm very sorry you had to hear that. Like it's probably been since my job at Cisco, which was 1.5 years ago, that I spoke French still. So it's coming from very deep.
So what do you do to keep yourself focused on making games? Because I don't want to hear any more French, sorry.
Donc, le chose que...
English.
Yeah.
What do you do to keep yourself focused on making games? So I guess you're not sidetracked, so you keep the grind up. Maybe... can I answer for you, maybe?
Why is there a guy who's like, Nani kono Fransugonda?
Je m'appelle Catherine.
No, it's French. Japanese, the guy. I know Japanese as well. Je m'appelle Catherine Deneuve. It's my default answer to French questions.
So what I think we do to keep ourselves focused on making games is realize that if we don't work on our games, we are going bankrupt really soon and we are going straight to the void. For me, it is in fact existential dread. Yeah. Pretty much. That's why I said, can I answer for you?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not. It's rough when your livelihood is at stake. Basically, if you don't do it, you're.
It's not like I couldn't sleep for like. I still can't sleep for the longest time. I had to buy like the Anchor Sleep A10 sleeping earbuds because otherwise my brain can physically not shut down from work mode basically. So it's definitely not all sunshine and rainbows, but I wake up, I just work, and then I sleep. And why do I do this? It gets easier now because I see the potential. But especially that first year, I mean, back then I wasn't full-time either, but I don't know honestly how I did it. I don't know if I think we had it again. We did it like a year ago, longer. What did we do? A year and 3 months ago, I think you quit your job. Yeah, so a little bit more. Yeah, if you look back at it, like no jokes, guys. The choice Marnix made, because I said he shouldn't do it, by the way. It's dumb. It's really dumb. Don't quit. We also didn't have a big YouTube channel. Like, we had 6,000 in August. You quit in March. Yeah, back when I quit, we had about 400 subscribers. 400. I think 400, and then we went. So we basically had a very small pile of shit. It wasn't even a big pile of shit. Yeah, it was just very small. We basically had nothing. Yeah, it was just also I wanted to. It's Skopje. I was done with the job as well. It was not fun anymore, so I was like, okay, whatever, fuck it. Yeah, I think. But I think we definitely have always been very hopeful. I remember last year when we went to Gamescom, it was like, what if we could? Like, we were making about $5 a day through YouTube AdSense because we just had those 2 big spikes. I was like, imagine we could keep this up. It's still like extra money. It's not gonna be enough, but it's. And I think I recently saw a game dev video about a guy who quit his job, sold his house, and then started making a Metroidvania. You, sir, have found my eternal nemesis, Sasquatch B Games. This thing again. That's not true. Yeah, I just keep saying it because we started our YouTube channels 2 days apart, or like 3 days. Very funny, honestly. Yeah. But we actually released a game. Get owned. He has more subscribers. He has more subscribers, but we've released a game. Which one do you value more? He probably has more money. I'm not sure about that. I think what we do... This is such a bad topic, honestly. I think what we do really well as a YouTube channel, and that's also because of that existential dread, is try to monetize it. I think a lot of game dev YouTubers just make videos, and that's it. I think we actively, things like our Patreon, we have a really well earning Patreon because of that thing. Like for example, hey, the €50 tier, it's at like 770 euros a month right now. AdSense is okay. We actively
He has merch. We don't have merch.
Yeah, but I don't.
Do you guys want merch?
I don't think those get a lot of.
Yeah.
Wait, what I want to say? I don't think that this merch get lots of sale. But basically, I actively reach out. Things like the conferences. I don't know any other developer. Does anyone in chat maybe? The things like develop right, and we're going to Gamescom. And last year we went to Gamescom and we made that video where we asked 100 game devs, a game dev degree it's worth it. Those are things that I think make us stand out as well from other people, basically.
Susanna, we want to make Bite Me Gains. It's like a gym lineup.
Honestly, I want to make slutty underwear that says Bite Me Now.
I don't think we have the good market for that.
Yeah, our audience is never getting laid, but it would be funny.
I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Wanted merch or something?
Yes, Before that.
Susanna would buy my underwear. Not my underwear. That's for the OnlyFans.
Yeah, I wanted to say maybe that's the way to do it.
Oh no, the other YouTubers that do the event covers like us.
I think in general, what really separates us from basically everyone else, we're so quirky, we're so unique, is I think we are such hustlers. We are like
hustling.
We go for things that we shouldn't. A simple example is, how did we get known in the Belgian game industry? We just booked the biggest booth at games at Gameforce, which is like the Belgian version of Gamescom, and we just showed up, and then like people from like the industry came like us and said, "Who the hell are you guys?" So and we were like, "We founded a company last week. We're here to show off our game," and they were like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, so what basically Gameforce is like the mini Gamescom, 20,000 visitors, and Belgian, like the Belgian Audiovisual Fund, they have sponsored booths where for €100 you get like a desk and 2 tables, and it's like in a wall. It's like a few square meters at most. And we were like, fuck it. It was only €875 for a booth. We were 4 people, so we're like, we just want to have the experience. We just paid it ourselves. We got the booth. We set it up. We had like a 4x3 meter banner. You've seen it in our videos.
Industry, beautiful. Look at our website. It's
good art, things like that. Yeah. And we just rocked up. We had so many people come by us, and everyone was like, "Who are you?" Like the head of like the Flemish like game fund, or like not game fund, but like game association.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Game association. What are you?
I'm searching. Keep going. I'm searching Twitch.
Oh, you want Twitch?
Here. Oh, I wanted to see. We're rising. I distracted you. I said keep going. You didn't listen.
Yeah, because you suddenly stole my PC. We suddenly had like the biggest booth. People came up to us and like, who are you? I think definitely, once again, like going to these events, we made content about it as well. We always had that content first approach as well.
Yeah.
And I think...
and also just the fact that we showed up and were like, we're giving you keychains, we're giving you pre-orders, all those things like... All right, in hindsight, we know it was a mistake, but we had the mentality of, getting engagement from the people from day one, getting them involved. Marty's, his hands were literally bleeding because he made hundreds of wooden keychains by hand, which represented tankards and in-game items. It's crazy the amount of effort we basically took in it.
Benjamin, we will be going to Gamescom, and we'll also be going to DevCon. It's gonna be...
We don't have a booth, we go as visitors.
It's going to be crazy. Like, we were talking about content, right? Mm-hmm. The last 2 weeks of August, you guys, you're gonna be sick of me because I'm currently planning 9 videos in a 2-week time period, basically.
And there are live streams.
And there's gonna be IRL streams. It's gonna be nuts. I'm planning 3
And BiteStream is always going to continue, by the way.
Yeah, 3 videos for DevCom, and then another like 5 or so from Gamescom. We'll be doing live streams, because I don't know, are we gonna be doing live streams in the evening? Probably not. Normally we do live streams on Wednesday evening, Thursday evening, and then
but Wednesday we do the full day.
Yeah, we do the full day, but I don't know if we'll do the Thursday one.
But Thursday you were going to release a video, so it replaces the live stream, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Would you recommend to visit different, even small game conventions when you have a short demo for a game?
Visiting, yes. Being an exhibitor, no.
The thing is, no, because it's like a little bit for playtesting, but not really. The thing is, I spoke to this with Chris Zukowski, because that is one collab I want to do, and I think I can pull it off at some point. I want to do a tier list with Chris Zukowski. A marketing strategy tier list, because I've basically done one where once I had a call with him and I was like, okay, give me the quick 5-minute tier list of these things. And I asked him about like physical events, and the answer he gave me was, take the money and just go to a theme park, and you're going to have a much better result at the end of the day, by the team being more cohesive and things like that, than spending it on going to the event, the opportunity cost, not being able to work on your game the entire period, and things like that.
That's such a Chris Zukowski answer, though. I love it.
But he's
I
right.
love it.
I
yeah,
think
he's
honestly,
right.
he's right. So,
I love his humor answers. Like,
yeah.
he makes such good points.
I have bad news. I really need to use the restroom. Can you entertain the stream for like 1 minute on your own?
It really depends. If chat gives me a good question, maybe. Also, maybe turn off your mic so they
I
don't
will
hear
turn
you
it
pee.
off this time.
Yeah, because otherwise they hear you pee and it's a bit awkward,
It would
maybe.
be awkward, but I really need to. But I don't want to end the stream because, yeah, this is fun, guys. I'm having fun. Are you guys having fun?
I mean, if they say
Tell
no,
us
no.
the secret of Marnix. I'll let you gossip about
A secret about Marnix.
Chat, you can't hear me, but I will ask chat later what they.
He told me he will ask you guys what secret I shared. So this is really hard. What is your plan to take over the world? So first things first, we are releasing a new game next year. It's called Guild Architect. We will make billions of dollars with it. With that, we will start a fund for more indie games to join. And with that, we will further our reach into the industry until we are so big. We basically bought up Sony, Microsoft, whatever. We will basically complete capitalism. We will completely take it over. Has the mic thing happened before? I think, I don't know if it was me or him, but I remember like one of the first streams we did like half a year ago. It was like a one-off. We were at his place and we were like walking, like going through to the restroom. We were like, oh, I need to go. And I think we kept the mic on. So it might have happened, yeah. Now that is ambition. That's exactly. Bevy users are having fun. I think you're the one guy from earlier. You're probably the only one. Object-oriented program is a scam, structs and functions for the win. I mean, sometimes function-based program is nice, but a lot of times no. Thomas Crovea, I'm very sorry, but Thomas is written with an H, so I don't think you actually mean me. But in case you do mean me, if you could go back in time and replace your and your teammates' experience in Unity with Unreal, would you? No. I actually... maybe. That's an impossible to answer question.
Content,
yeah,
right?
but they ask me, like, if I could go back in time and replace our experience from Unity to Unreal, would I? I don't know.
No. Okay. What questions did I miss?
Yeah, they're the last.
What was the secret that you told about me?
I don't think I told any secret.
Oh.
I got you, fam.
Okay.
I got you.
I'm enjoying the parasocial relationship. I definitely have felt like we've gotten a lot more parasocial relationships. So, but
hey friends, how's it going?
Yeah,
how was your day?
Everyone get Thomas a birthday present soon. His birthday is the 20th of August, and he's very sad because
if you're going to Gamescom and you see him on the floor, just give me a monster and I'm happy. But I will probably not drink it live because if a lot of people do that, I will just die on stream, which is very awkward.
No.
Let's take a look. That's your B-day? Well, the 20th is my B-day, so it's 1 day late.
How old are you getting, dear boomer?
What do you think?
25? No, you're 2 years older than me, right? 26?
26.
Okay. Man, 26 and still has to entertain people on YouTube. Must be kind of sad, no?
In a couple of years, you will do the same.
Maybe. Okay, let's rapid fire some questions. Vankil asked, are there plans to support Guild Architect after it launches?
Hopefully.
Or are we moving on to the next project? Basically, we want to, if we have the money, or if we have to go bankrupt. Once again, publishers also would influence how does this go. So, yeah.
I love you guys, now change to my will. Yeah, no. What?
No.
What? Do you mean... Are we getting in his will? Does he want to be in our will?
I don't.
What does he mean? Does he? What? I'm not sure what you mean.
Do you play other games or make prototypes of games to test out system mechanics, that kind of thing?
Wait, where do you see that? Did my chat just? Oh, the auto scrolls don't work.
Oh, it doesn't work for me either. The thing is, I don't really play. I only play games to really research the competition. So currently. No, actually, 2 days ago I started playing Surrounded, just for like fun, but I've played like 50 minutes or something, not much. When we're starting development on new games, I definitely do play similar games for quite a while. But now, like, I just don't have the time. Once again, it's like I cannot enjoy games when I know that I need to make sure that William gets paid at the end of the month. I could always be doing more work. So that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, I think the most gaming I do is when I play with you guys.
Yeah.
That sounds weird.
And
I mean, video games.
But then it's League, which is like, it's such it's not gonna make you make better indie games, really. So
but the thing is, we're also together, and like half of the time we talk about Bite Me anyway.
Yeah, so
it's like a meeting, but we're just playing League at the same time. Well, ARAM, because the other guys are not good at League.
I just want to have fun. I don't want to get salty.
Yeah. So Rohan mentioned that he has heard a lot about Guild Architect, but he still has no idea what the core gameplay loop is like.
Why don't you pull up your pitch deck? No, you don't need to. Let's not. But you can pitch it.
But he saw that gambling is there.
There's no gambling. It's wagering.
Yeah, it's wagering. It's not real money. It's just fake money.
Yeah.
Which you cannot buy with real money, by the way. Just to be clear. But Guild Architect core gameplay loop, you will know soon because we are, I think, releasing the store page.
Store page is coming out
sometime soon.
But give the quick pitch.
I probably need to look up the guild or
okay. So basically,
you can pitch it.
You know the games like Skyrim and like those RPGs.
Oh, okay, where it's an easy pitch.
You're the adventure. Of course, it's an easy pitch. You need to know this by heart, guys. If you meet me at Gamescom, know whatever game you're working on by heart. I will ask it. If you do not have a good answer, I will roast the shit out of you and make fun of you right there and there.
Yeah. But first thing we ask you is give us your elevator pitch.
No,
your one sentence or two sentences.
So here's how an interaction is gonna go. This quick derail. You come up to me and you're like, "Hey, are you Marnix, the buff guy with the white T-shirt from Bite Me Games?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm gonna answer, "Yeah." Are you a patron? And then then you better say yes. And if you say no, like whatever. The next question is, okay, what game are you working on right now? If you're a patron, I will like, I don't know, do things with you. Next thing, basically. So, Guild Architect. You're sick and tired of going and taking these random quests. You don't know really what's going on. So basically, you're like, screw it. I'm gonna make my own guild, and I'm going to be the one who makes the guild, who makes the quest, and gives them to the adventurers. And that's the whole concept. Is more of like a papers, please. You get these pieces of information, all the different quest information. Basically, can you stop all tapping to my PC?
You're doing great.
It's very distracting. And fuck you. I hope you die no, you don't die. I hope you get into a non-lethal car accident. But you puzzle these things together, then you have adventurers who join your guild who will then go and look, they will form their own parties, kind of like The Sims and Dwarf Fortress, where you don't influence them directly. They live their own lives, you create the quests, you manage the entire guild, so it's not just a tavern manager. And that's basically the whole point, where you get to be the cozy guy who runs the entire sim.
I'm looking for the hook we wrote down.
J-Lo, what if they lie about being a patron? Then I'll ask them, like those Mr. Beast videos of like, hey, if you're subscribed and pull out your phone right now, you'll get $10,000.
We won't give $10,000.
Yeah, we will not. But
FYI, don't expect that one.
The style we want to go for.
I was looking, do you know where the Guild Architect hook document is?
It should be in Google Drive shared with you normally.
Yeah, but is it?
I've also shared it in our latest YouTube videos. Wait, what am I seeing? Are you planning to submitting it to any next fest? Of course, we are going to submit it to next fest.
Probably February.
February next year, most likely.
All right, I'll give you guys the two-sentence hook. So instead of being an adventurer that has to go out and complete dodgy quests yourself, it's not really, you don't really want to put your life on the line. You build out your own guild as the guild master. You basically piece together information that you gather from different sources to create your own quests. You need to keep your adventurers happy, watch the gold, and that was a bad sentence. You keep your adventure happy and just watch the gold pile up faster than you can spend it, basically. That's the very, very brief summary of it.
Yes. Vitamin K, have any tips on how to conduct a good playtest? We actually made a video about it, I think, back in February, all about playtesting, how to deal with the feedback and things like that. I think that is going to be your best bet. Just go through our history or look up like Bite Me Games playtest. It's something like how to playtest your game without wanting to kill yourself or something. It was a bit of or that may have been just a working title. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Astro Monkey, I know it's more than 2 sentences. I added some extra context for you guys. It's normally shorter.
Yeah, here, playtesting your game without hating your life. I'll drop the link in YouTube chat at Vitamin K.
But you get stuff like adventures looking for a team and match them together.
So you do not match them together. They
Nope.
are. It's like all.
You do not control the adventures. You can try to influence them, but you cannot control them directly.
Yeah.
So you can say, you can put like decorations out, and it can be like, oh, now I can interact with it, maybe I'll do it. They decide if they do it. You cannot
They have
directly
different
assign.
personalities. Like some of them are like more extroverts, some of them are more introverts. So it's really like a simulation on the personal side and things.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
have their own relationships. So, for example, if I'm an adventurer, I go to sit on a bench, and there's a bench outside, not a bench press like Marty's probably thinks in his head. And he's like, oh, there's an adventure here, and he's like, I have an extroverted personality. I will talk to this guy, and they're like, the other guy's like, I really don't like this guy. And he's like, a lot of things not in common with me. Mm-hmm. They will start forming rivalries, all those things.
Yeah.
Like even things like equipping armor. You have like your guild inventory. You cannot assign equipment directly to your adventurers. They're like, I'm going on a quest.
And they
I'm
look
probably
at what
going to die.
need. Yeah.
Let's take a look in the inventory. Is there something that I really need?
Yeah, okay, let's speedrun this a bit more. Krovea, taking any inspiration on Spice and Wolf, I guess it's another isekai, or like it's a fantasy anime at the end of the day. Main one is Fairy Tail, but basically we are going to lean into the isekai anime kind of tropey stuff. Reading also, is there a win condition / campaign, or is it pure sandbox? So the idea we want to do is we want to have like a little bit of a story, but it's not going to be the main focus because we're not narrative designers. Yeah. How we're going to implement that is, okay, we have a bunch of the random quests that you have to puzzle together.
Procedurally generated sounds cooler.
AI generated, fuck off.
No.
We're not going to be AI generated. But we are also going to make some like bespoke, like custom quests that will go out based on like your guild reputation level, where it builds up with like, you can see a big bad evil brewing, and then your final quest will be like the one where you send out a party to kill the Demon King, once again leading into those anime isekai tropes. But you can just keep playing like normal after that. So there will be a bit of a story, but it's not really the main center stage. It's very much more sandboxy. And
during the story, you basically meet 10 unique monsters. So, for example, a normal quest you get in is like, there are goblins here, but maybe on your...
Goblin these nuts.
But maybe when you do an actual like story-based quest, there's like a special goblin, or are there dragons? Yes, there are dragons.
These balls. We're a great team. I'm HR, so I can make these jokes.
Yeah. I of course do this on purpose to set them up. By the way, I got him.
All right.
Worded it wrong. I want people think that alpha is in the game. What the hell? What?
I think that's a discussion they're having in chat between themselves. Is it just me, or do all lick my balls? Is it just me, or do all programmers get jealous of John Carmack? So, I am going to... this is a video idea that I've pitched to Thomas before, but he said no. If you're an OG Bite Me fan...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wait, just shut up and listen to me talk. If you're an OG Bite Me fan, back in May 2023, so last year when we weren't as big, I made a video living like Hideo Kojima for a week.
Oh, yeah.
Where I...
Oh, yeah.
The PTSD gets back. Where I was like, hey, I'm in Japan. I read like Kojima's book of like, how does he work? Like every day after his work, he goes and like walks through a bookstore. I made a video about it. It was all right. We weren't as big back then. And now I was like, Thomas, I live like the id Software John Carmack and John Romero for a week, where he would be John Carmack, I would be Romero. And I would be like, yeah, you shift to I think Carmack slept from worked from 4 p.m. until like 4 a.m. No, like 6 a.m. or something. And then he went to sleep under like his desk and like some pizza boxes, pillows. But it's a bit too hardcore, but I definitely...
Maybe we do it in Japan, we're together anyway.
Yeah, but...
We'll see, no promises.
I do... Am I jealous of John Carmack? No. I am jealous of the sheer dedication and grind that he has. But he's once again, it's like from a different era. It's yeah. I think he's still very nice at the end of the day. And
I think it's respectable.
It's respectable. The stuff they did was crazy at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, in the end... We earlier on the stream we talked about how you basically have to keep the grind up for channel like a YouTube channel or Twitch for your followers or whatever. This guy basically did the same. Like the way he performed for so consistently for that amount of time with such a crazy schedule, basically.
Yeah.
That's just the only thing I can say there is respect.
You guys are young. You could totally do that lifestyle. Yeah, they were young back then. The thing is, I am someone who goes to sleep normally at 9:30. So I'm already 40 minutes past bedtime. And normally I wake up at 5 a.m. So
You want me to tuck you in later?
No.
He was doubting for half a second. I was like, I don't want to drive to his place. I have to drive like longer home.
Nah, you can just stay over.
That's also true. That's also true. Yeah.
Whilst we're waiting for some more questions to come in, because right now we still have a decent amount of people watching. We're currently at about 95 viewers. If you want to help us out and not have to pay anything for it, if you are a Amazon Prime member, we recently became affiliates over on Twitch. Our Twitch is linked in the description of this video on YouTube, or if you're watching this on Twitch directly, that also works. If you go to our Twitch, there is a subscribe button, and if you've linked your Prime account, or your Prime account to your Amazon account, you can click that, and there will be a little box that is like, use my Prime sub, costs you nothing, and we get like some extra support for it. We get like an extra Prime sub. It helps us a lot. If you're not really subscribed to anyone on Twitch yet, it's a really good way to help us out, and it doesn't cost you anything. Probably if you're an American, you already have Amazon Prime anyway, because you need to get your snackos delivered within 2 days, even if it's like across the world, basically, your beef jerky or something.
And it resets every month, so next month you can do it for someone else if you really want to.
So,
also, Power of Two, thank you for following.
Yeah.
And there's a sound for it.
There's the sound for it. That's great.
Great timing.
So.
Yeah, I mean, nice plug. You're practicing.
I don't know. We just need the money.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, I think. Okay, let's see. Are there any more questions coming in? Because I think otherwise we'll probably be wrapping this up.
Yeah, unless you guys keep the stream going with questions, we will probably call it quits.
Yeah, at some point we'll call it quits. It's been
Really?
a bit over 2 hours.
Will we at some point call it quits? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm old and I'm weak and I'm frail and I cannot get out of bed on my own anymore, then I'll quit.
But I'll just give you a laptop so you can do it from your bed.
That's true. Game releasing in February, right? Does Marnix have enough money to survive? Ooh, spicy question. The big thing is, it depends.
It depends.
If all of our income drops today, we earn 0, then the answer is no. If we can keep up the current growth and the current amount of money we earn through things like Patreon and YouTube, probably yes.
Maybe.
But it'll be very close. So once again, things like those sponsors for going to games like Develop Right and to Gamescom, DevCom, those are things because I have that pressure of, oh fuck, I need to find a way to keep going, which is good because it has given us results. Hey, thanks you, Taya Arcade. You got the message for subscribing with Prime.
You might be one of the reasons that Marnix can actually continue doing this. Thank you.
As for Astro Monkey, part-time to fund Bite Me would be on the table. No, it would not. If we cannot sustain what we're doing now, I am not going, because you see this often with like, hey, I'm gonna work for another studio a few days a week, or I'm gonna go back to my main job. If I've talked about it, I think before, if Guild Architect, if we don't reach it, or if Guild Architect fails, I think then is also the point for me to just reflect and be like, hey, maybe Game Dev YouTube is not cut out for me. I'm gonna take a break from it, because also it wouldn't be genuine anymore if I like have 2 failed games at that point and I'm like, yeah guys, here are 7 tips to market your game, get 10,000 wishlist and things like that. It's like, no, I'm still young, I've given it my all at least. I am still happy with the end result, and yeah.
Another question from Twitch, it's from Sarah, and she asks, when do you think is the best time for a Steam page? I think we covered this in the past, we changed our opinion on it, so maybe give a brief summary.
The moment you have a trailer, and the trailer looks decent, you can submit your trailer in our Discord, and then
we might roast it on a video.
But I think the general thing used to be, oh, get it out as fast as possible, just get the 5 screenshots and put it up. No, you need good capsule art. There's, it's not linked here, I can link it if you want, but basically in our videos, find the one with marketing mistakes. There's a link to good capsule artists, and you need to have a trailer. If you have those 2 things, you can put the store page live.
Yeah.
Do not put the store page live without a trailer. The moment you do have the trailer, put the store page live earlier than not.
Do you have a press kit?
We have one for Forge Industry, not yet for Guild Architect.
Press.bitemegames.com.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, that's a very cringy picture. Let's not go there.
No, it's we need to retake.
Should I show it on stream?
Yeah, you can show it on stream.
This is our beautiful press kit.
This was taken like just.
The first video we ever uploaded.
Yeah, the Who's Bite Me Games. You were so like chubby back then.
Yeah, we mentioned it before. Like after that, I went gymming. It was like my face went a lot less.
Yeah, slender.
Yeah, slender. Thank you.
But basically, that top picture, I'd want to retake it at Gamescom. Because that's going to be another time that the four of us will be together. There's not always that the four of us are together.
And then the projects is Forge Industry. It's not the prettiest page, basically, but the main thing I think you want in the press kit is the easy access to the images and like a short description, your logo, all those things I think are the most important.
Would I quit if Guild Architect doesn't meet expectations? Well, it doesn't meet expectations or doesn't earn enough to... keep going. If it doesn't meet expectations,
if we don't deliver the quality we want, whatever. If we don't hit the sales we need, I don't say want.
Yeah, as long as we can keep going. I want to keep going. I don't want to go back to selling data center boxes to Indian CTOs who are like 50 years old and hate me. But yeah, there's no Guild Architect page yet because we do not have that trailer yet. I'm going to make a stream next. Yeah, today is Saturday, yeah. Next week there will be a stream that I'm not going to stop until there's a trailer done. And once that is done, I'm on the stream live going to upload the trailer and just put the store page up because it's been too long at this point. We've been waiting too long. But I'm once again very firmly, we need to have a trailer before we put the Steam page live.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing is also the more games you bring out, the more we talked about it with the publishers, back catalog. Like songs, we have too many games at this point. Forge Industry doesn't earn us.
It's only going to increase,
Forge Industry doesn't earn us a lot, but it still earns us something. And the more things you have,
I think we mentioned, at least I think I mentioned it a couple of times. Is the guy from that once gave a GDC talk where it's like, I never had a hit. I've been in indie for 10 years. It's been my main job, and he made like games that like perform mediocre, but he has a very
because it just has so many of them.
Yeah, so many, and then
like
some perform well for certain periods of time, and it basically evens out across the year. It's a strategy for sure.
Yeah. And Vankil, you have the page approved already though? The page has been approved for 2.5 months at this point.
Yeah.
The page is all set to go. It's really just a trailer. So if you haven't done that yet, you can just get the 5 screenshots out and get the store page approved already. Same with your build. Do it on time, and then you can just set it live whenever you want.
Just make Christmas games, by the way.
What, Christmas games?
I don't know.
That's gonna sell 1 month every year.
Yeah, but maybe every year it will sell.
Yeah,
I don't know. The guy that I mentioned, he made like Halloween themed games and so, and they did perform at that period in time. So maybe.
Yeah, but I need more than 1 sale period a year. So
he has a backlog. We don't.
Yeah.
Guild Architect will definitely make more than Forge Industry. Who knows if you'll sell enough?
I do think it will make more than.
If it doesn't make more,
then we failed. And then we ended as well. That would be probably.
If we sell less than Forge Industry,
we sold Forge Industry with 1,000 subs. We now have 30k subs, and sure, some of you guys will give us pity reviews, which is great because that actually still helps us getting real further people. So also people have generally been quite positive over how Guild Architect looks.
Yeah. Besides, if we don't need that, I think Forge Industry is a great first project. I still am not the biggest fan of the game, but that's just personal. But there are a lot of flaws in Forge Industry, and I think we are doing a much better job at Guild Architect. So if that effort is not rewarded with more sales, I will be very, very sad, because
we've just put more into it as well. Reading also found his Twitch passport, and he's now also following on Twitch.
Thank you.
Forge Industry isn't as polished as Guild Architect, and yes, I would consider Guild Architect a cozy game. That's one of the things we wanted to go for. Yep. We kind of lost that vision, though, I feel, from what we originally set out for, but I think we can still recover.
There's still some work to do on the coziness, but when we originally pitched this within Bite Me, then, it is basically, we are looking for something cozy. We want it to be a bit laid back. It's a
Yeah.
management game at its core, but we also want to have it be like, if I take my hands off for like 5 minutes and I can just watch the daily life, I can see the adventurers interacting, I can see them going about their daily life, their routines, and all those things with like nice colors and this and that. I think that's cozy. I think it's very satisfying to look at. That's what we are going for.
Yeah.
It looked good. Thank you. I hope it will do good indeed. But it's a very opinionated thing.
Yeah,
we had people from the industry.
Yeah, who are like, this game looks ugly, and I'm like, what do you mean? We've had actual artists work on it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Forge Industry.
Forge Industry definitely could have looked a lot better.
Yeah, and if Forge Industry looked better, it probably would have sold more.
Can you say what your target number is? I think we're talking about sales-wise. Do you have are you logged in on Patreon on this computer? Probably not.
I don't
right?
think so.
I
can log in if you want.
I can probably pull this up. There's a video on our Patreon called
in the archive.
Oh yeah, pull up the video then in the archive. Don't share your screen right now.
I'm not.
Okay. Called like our strategy. Give us a one. But basically, there's a video on Patreon where I talked about like our full marketing strategy.
Or when was it?
It was early June. Here, go back.
Oh yeah, our marketing plan for Guild.
Yeah.
Let's
and then
take
there
it a
should
look.
be a part in there where I have like this little graph of the wish list conversion rates and things like that.
What time exactly? What are some goals?
Yeah, here.
This?
Yeah, this.
I'll put it on full screen.
Yeah, and then share your screen, and then we can talk through it. Let me see also.
It's on screen, so talk through it.
Let me pull it up on my screen as well. 1 second, it's still.
We're at like 4:26 in.
Oh,
yeah, you just.
Our faces kind of kill this corner though. Can we do a little?
But then they see the link.
That's the problem. Okay, well, we'll walk through it.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
So the first approach we had is
maybe first. This is the kind of content you can find on Patreon. So we're not just talking to you once a month.
Yeah. So this would not perform well on YouTube. These kinds of videos because it's very much more speculative. So we're currently thinking similar pricing on Forge Industry. So after Steam, after VAT, all of the regional pricing, we would earn about $10 per game net. We're assuming 5% conversion rate because YouTube generally especially from YouTube wish lists and things like that, they don't confirm this well. Forge Industry started at 2.7%. It actually has gone up to 6.4 now, which is an improvement, but it's still below the average of 10%. So we're taking a very safe approach here with the 5%.
It should be more.
If we launch with 2,000 wishes, which is what we launched with Forge Industry, which is always